And if you can't believe it, it's a Friday once again.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. It is Friday. This is the Central Committee stream with your host, Mike from PA. It is Friday, September 5th. Can you believe it's already September of 2025? Like, legitimately, one of the things that gets a little bit freaky as you get older is how fast the year just churns by. That's one of those things that I noticed. It's like, boom, it's January, bam, it's September. It's like, what the fuck? So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had yesterday was a good stream, huh? Yesterday was a pretty base stream. The older you are, the faster time becomes the neurons become slower at firing. I mean, that does seem to be true. That seems so true. Now, my neurons firing slow are still faster than you. No, I'm kidding. You know, chat, as I was watching this song, the Internationale, there's this one part where they show an antenna. Let me see if I could find it. Come on, where the fuck is it? Why can't I find it? There it is. Oh, there it is. We found it. Okay. And it bumps me the fuck out. You may not know what this is even a reference to, but basically this is a spherical reflector dish, a radio telescope for super deep space. And America used to have the biggest one. But like most of our science and most of the funding that goes for science in this country, it was cut. And now it lies abandoned. You probably know it because it was featured in the movie GoldenEye. Here it is now. So China has this new deep space radio telescope, brand new. Ours is an abandoned wreck. It's just a really sad, pathetic indictment. And it's not the only one. Like, America has been failing as an empire for quite a while now. Everybody knows about CERN, right? You guys know about CERN, right? Particle accelerator, the big one that's in Switzerland, where they do all those, you know, they smash particles together at the speed of light to like try to understand the building blocks of the new universe. Well, America was building one that was way bigger in Texas. It was called the Superconducting Super Collider, and we just abandoned it. It's just abandoned. Obama did it right outside of Dallas. Our country doesn't do shit anymore, man. It's like actually sad. Or maybe it was Bush that canceled it. I don't want to give O'Bugler miscredit. Hold on. Let me see what year it was canceled. Was it in the 90s? Oh, okay, I'm completely wrong. Many factors contributed. It was Clinton. Sorry, chat. Rising cost estimates to $12 billion. We just spent $175 billion on ICE this year. We spent $175 billion on ICE, and they canceled one of the most important projects for theoretical physics for a measly $12 billion. The end of the need to prove the supremacy of the American science with the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the war, Cold War, believed that many smaller scientific experiments of equal merit could be funded for the same cost. And Congress's desire to generally reduce spending. The United States was running a $255 billion budget deficit. We have like a $2 trillion deficit now. So America is just a completely collapsing, pathetic empire. And the problem is, unless China takes up the mantle, humanity's fucked. It's actually just that simple. And it's incredibly sad.
To the mayor's race, where the fallout continues over reports the White House is trying to clear the decks for a one-on-one contest between Andrew Cuomo and Zoran Mamdani. As political reporter Marcia Kramer reports, Cuomo is upping the ante.
Leaders of New York City's Muslim community endorsed Mayor Adams for re-election as he calls for the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad to become a city holiday. This as controversy continued to swirl about efforts by the White House and President Trump to craft job offers for Adams and Republican Curtis Sliwa so that Andrew Cuomo can face off alone against Zoran Mamdani. The mayor was having none of it.
If you want to allow Andrew Cuomo to determine the rules of how our electoral process is, then where's our democracy? The fact of the matter, the voters decide who are for the next mayor of the city of New York.
Cuomo insisted he had not spoken to either President Trump or White House aides, but he continued to back a proposal that the strongest candidate should face off against Mamdani.
It makes sense that when you get to a point when you can determine who is the strongest candidate, the other candidates defer to the stronger candidate.
The former governor upped the ante in the race, challenging Mamdani and only Mamdani to a series of 5 debates, one in every borough.
Mr. Mamdani's fear is a one-on-one race with me. Why? Because the majority of New Yorkers oppose him. And the only way he wins is by splitting that vote. And I'm telling you, the more New Yorkers find out who he is, the less support he's going to have.
The Queens Assemblyman didn't rise to the bait. In fact, he offered a debate challenge of his own.
Let's cut out the middleman. Why should I debate Donald Trump's puppet when I could debate Donald Trump himself? If Donald Trump is serious about this, he should come to New York City. We can have as many debates as he wants about why he is cutting SNAP benefits for hungry New Yorkers just to fund tax cuts for his billionaire donors.
No billionaire, no millionaire is going to be choosing the next mayor of the city of New York. I trust the people. I don't trust the politicians. So let the battle continue on the issues.
Now, Mayor Adams told me weeks ago that there were going to be more twists and turns in this race than the Coney Island roller coaster. The big question, what's next?
So even the mayor knows how crazy this race is.
He did, and I think he is anticipating some more twists and turns.
Yeah, well, you know, they're all in the race until they're not, as we've learned in the past.
That's a true statement.
Okay, Marcia, thank you.
Marcia, like, with all due respect, can you retire? Like, you know, can I just say it's very uncomfortable when people are in their fucking 80s as news anchors? Like, can you just retire? Spend some time with, like, a good book. You know, I don't even know what else to say. Like, god damn. Boomers, fucking retire. They never want to quit. U.S. tried to send SEAL Team 6 into North Korea, but failed. Yeah, it's really amazing. How a top secret SEAL Team 6 mission to North Korea fell apart. The 2019 operation, greenlit by President Trump, sought a strategic edge. It left unarmed North Koreans dead. Yeah, America likes to violate the sovereignty of other countries and commit horrible war crimes. Who knew? Never forget what Siwa looks like without his beret. This is so fucking badass. This is so fucking badass. Like, I fucking love it, man. What a hairline. All right, so what are we talking about today? Hutch is trying to get Hassan banned. I love Hutch, man. Hutch is so awesome. Like, before I used to, like, really hate Hutch because he's so fucking stupid and he owes me money. Hashtag DSA pay up. Let the TSA pay ups in the chat. Whenever you see Hutch anywhere on this website, DSA pay up. But I used to really hate Hutch because he seemed like profoundly stupid. And I was like, how come no arguments can penetrate that bald head of his? Why is he so fucking stupid? Why is he such a dumb piece of shit? Why is he unable to, like, understand or comprehend rational arguments? It was really fucking weird. But then I realized he's being paid. Hutch is being paid by a Destiny pack called Progressive Victory. And so there's an old saying about changing someone's mind. Upton Sinclair, he said, it is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it. And this is Hutch in a nutshell. Basically, Hutch was paid by Progressive Victory, which is a slush fund scam pack that Destiny set up to pay all his orbiters a small crumb of money so that they would kiss his fucking ass. And then what's really funny is he would forever hold that over them. So Hutch was paid by this scam pack. And how do I know it's a scam pack? Well, if you look at Progressive Victory pack, it doesn't spend its money on anything. Like, if you look at it, Progressive Victory pack, what the fuck is it spending its money on? Raised $1.45 million. And what the fuck did it spend it on? Unclassifiable. $1.05 $72.06 million, 72%, 72.75%, rounded up to 73% on unclassifiable expenditures. It only contributed $563 to a campaign, $50,000 on administrative, $63,000 on fundraising, $108,000 on quote strategy and research, and $121,000 on quote campaign expenses, which is only 8%. So they set up this scam pack. And where did this money go? Where did this money go? And you have Nathaniel Roberts, Jonah Goldman. Look at all, I mean, it's just a scam pack that received a lot of money and spent it on nothing. Unclassifiable expenditures. Hutch got, I think it was what, $2,000 of this? And we became aware of this because there was an investigation by, I believe, Pat Panada looked into it. This is before he went mentally insane because someone criticized him on Twitter. And Hutch revealed his full name and his apartment on a video that has 100K views years ago. I got doxxed. Chat, you know what happens when you actually get doxxed or swatted? You know what you don't do? You don't make a video on it because you're trying to keep your dox secret. If somebody doxes you, you don't like make a video about how you got doxed or swatted because, you know, you don't want more people to dox or swat you. This is how you know it's not doxing. It's because Hutch is trying to make a video on it. And basically what they're trying to claim is that it's a dox because people looked at the Federal Election Commission report on the Progressive Victory PAC payment. This doesn't have his street address. It doesn't have his actual address. It has his first and last name and the city that he's already disclosed. All this information, his name is Hutch online. Hutchinson, everybody knows his name. Like, there is literally no new information that he hasn't already voluntarily given. And here's the thing, chat. He took $2,000 from a PAC, and we have a public policy right to investigate and talk about campaign distributions made by PACs. Now, I wouldn't dox his Social Security number. I wouldn't dox his name, his like address, his full address. I wouldn't take information that wasn't in the public domain and directly related to campaign expenditures. That's not doxing. And that's the reality of Hutch. Hutch wants to take money from political actors to make content on Twitch, which from what I understand is against TOS unless it's disclosed. And I don't think you could be a partner and take political campaign money. I might have to look into that. Like, he might have to lose his, yeah, political candidates are prohibited from using any of Twitch's monetization tools. I don't think you can do paid promotion on Twitch. I think that's against the law. Like, I think that's against, I mean, Hutch might need to lose his partnership. If he's taking money from political campaigns, and especially if you don't disclose it, I'm pretty sure that you can't be a partner and take monetization tools. Yeah, this is, yeah, no, he's violating the Twitch terms of service. Hutch should lose partnership. If you engage in political activity on Twitch, you agree that activity is your own, that you're legally eligible to engage in it, that you will abide by applicable law while engaging in it, and you will not use any Twitch monetization tool to make, deliver, or receive a political contribution. Candidates for political office may not use any Twitch monetization tools on their channels. You agree that these activities are entirely your own. I don't know, chat. I mean, like, listen, my general feeling is the fact that they're trying to get Hassan banned on this, it's ridiculous. You won't believe who contributed $1,000? Vosh gave $1,000 and then it went to Hutch. Amazing. Truly amazing. Truly fucking amazing. All right, we'll talk about this more. I want to get us started with some regular politics. Then we'll get into making fun of Hutch. Because this story out of Venezuela, I've talked about it offhandedly, but I want to talk about it more because it's actually insane. And I don't know how people are not caring. He's not, like, nobody seems to care.
Hi there.
that the United States of America is just assassinating random people in a boat in international waters, which is a direct act of war, completely unjustifiable.
Tonight, the White House releasing this dramatic video of the U.S. blowing...
Dramatic? This is just a war crime. You're bombing a boat. Even if there are drug traffickers, even if they were drug traffickers, this would not be legitimate.
Tonight, the White House releasing this dramatic video of the U.S. blowing up a boat in the southern Caribbean. President Trump says it was carrying drugs from Venezuela and that the strike killed 11 members of the notorious gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA.
We have a lot of drugs.
If you're smuggling drugs, why the fuck would you have 11 guys? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. If you're smuggling drugs, you have 1 or 2 guys so you can carry more fucking drugs.
Into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela. We took it out.
Last month, the Pentagon deployed 3 guided missile destroyers to international waters near Venezuela after President Trump designated several drug cartels, as well as TDA, foreign terrorist organizations.
We're just literally, I mean, this is fascism. This is fascism. Like, I don't know what else to say. Just declaring people terrorists and then killing them with no due process. That's an act of war. That is terrorism itself. That is fascism. This is really the kind of collapse of the international order that people have been trying to build since, honestly, the 18th century.
The U.S. did pull off a large-scale prisoner swap with Venezuela this summer. Now tensions with Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro are rapidly escalating.
The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel.
In what way is it not legitimate? In what way is it not the legitimate government? Because what, the U.S. says so?
Tonight, the president saying no U.S. forces were hurt in the strike. Maduro has claimed that the U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean is aimed at overthrowing his government, and he's deployed troops along his borders. Tonight, a senior White House official is downplaying any possibility of the U.S. invading Venezuela, but says the president will use any means necessary to tackle drug cartels. Tom?
All right, Gabe Gutierrez leading us off with that new video tonight. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated.
And, like, the U.S. is just carrying L after L after L. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
How a
group of Navy SEALs emerged from the ink-black ocean on a winter night in early 2019 and crept to a rocky shore in North Korea. They were on a top-secret mission so complex and consequential that everything had to go exactly right. The objective was to plant an electronic device that would let the United States intercept the communications of North Korea's reclusive leader, Kim Jong-un. The mission had the potential to provide the United States with a stream of valuable intelligence, but it meant putting American commandos on North Korean soil, a move that, if detected, not only could sink negotiations, but also lead to a hostage crisis or an escalating conflict with a nuclear-armed foe. So this is literally just an act of war. I want to point out that we have a U.S. Coast Guard which has been interdicting boats without killing people for 4 decades. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing when somebody crosses into your territorial waters and then you order them to stop, and then they shoot back. You know, killing those people would absolutely be justified. That would not be an act of war. It would not be a crime. But to send the Navy out into open ocean and then just airstrike a boat with no warning, that's just terrorism, man. I don't care who the fuck you are. That's just terrorism, man. How do you know this boat is actually what you think it is? In the operation, the military chose SEAL Team 6 Red Squadron, the same unit that killed Osama bin Laden. The SEALs rehearsed for months, aware they needed to, every move needed to be perfect. When they reached what they thought was a deserted shore that night, wearing black wetsuits and night vision goggles, the mission swiftly unraveled. A North Korean boat appeared out of the dark. Flashlights from the bow swept over the water. Fearing that they'd been spotted, the SEALs opened fire. Within seconds, everyone on the North Korean boat was dead. The SEALs retreated into the sea without planting the listening device. The Trump administration did not notify key members of Congress who oversee intelligence operation before or after the mission. The lack of notification may have violated the law. The White House declined to comment. But here's the thing. Did Democrats do anything about it when they were in office or when they were in power? Nope. Because it's one party, the fascist party. I don't know what else to say at this point. The Democratic Party at the highest levels is a fascist party. Sure, there are nice candidates like Zoran Mamdani or whatever the fuck who are in the Democratic Party. But for the most part, this party at the highest levels is completely in lockstep with Donald Trump. Several of these people said they were discussing details about the mission because they were concerned that special operations failures are hidden by government secrecy. If the public and policymakers become aware only of high-profile successes such as the raid that killed bin Laden, they may underestimate the extreme risks that American forces undertake. The military operation on North Korean soil close to American military bases also risks setting off a broader conflict with a hostile, nuclear-armed, and highly militarized adversary. It's so ridiculous because that's us. That's us. There's not North Korean bases at fucking Cuba and Mexico and Canada. They aren't sending their commandos into San Francisco Harbor to plant listening devices. This is us. We're the hostile party. We're the invader. The Times has withheld some sensitive information on the North Korean mission that could affect future special operations and intelligence gathering missions. Oh, wow. Thanks, man. Thanks for covering up the crimes so they can commit more crimes. Don't you love journalism? But the SEAL operation is one chapter in a decades-long effort by U.S. administrations to engage North Korea and constrain its nuclear weapons programs. Almost nothing but the United States has tried. Neither promises of closer relations or the pressure of sanctions has worked. Promises of close. Get the fuck out of here. Did you see they revised the June job numbers to a net job loss? Yeah. America's economy is fucked. There's a housing bubble that's about to burst. There's no jobs being created. Inflation is happening. We're pissing off every other major trading partner. We just slapped 50% tariffs on India. They're banning vaccines. We should watch the RFK Jr. thing, man. We should watch the RFK Jr. thing because it's so fucking bad. We watched part of it yesterday, like a couple minutes, but Jesus Christ. I bought my home last year. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. The U.S. housing market has nearly 500,000 more sellers than buyers, the most on record. This will likely cause home prices to fall. And people say it's a buyer's market, but it isn't because no one can afford to buy these houses at these prices. The strongest buyer's market is Miami. The strongest seller's market is Newark. Newark, New Jersey? Oh my God. High home prices and mortgage rates are scaring buyers off. The median home sale price rose to $431,931 in April. $431,000 for a shit fucking garbage house. You guys don't know how bad the median house is. I wouldn't live in the median house. The median house is such dog shit. It's unbelievable. There's probably not more than $70,000 worth of actual like material value in these homes. They're fucking disgusting. You're rich, bro? Man, I'm telling you right now, housing stock is worse than it's ever been in my entire fucking life. All right, let's get back to the sanction shit. We'll talk more about housing, but I'm just like, everything is fucked. Have you seen those new YouTube shorts by the home build inspector? It's so bad, man. It's so bad. Like housing construct, like the quality of housing is so piss poor. So piss poor. Nobody uses good materials. Everything has gray millennial floors. Everything fucking sucks. My wife and I wanted a house a few years ago, but couldn't afford it. We wanted moderate standards, and the house we wanted was about $350,000, and for our high cost of living area. Now the same house a few years later, $600,000, and we are priced out. Everything is dog shit. Everything is insane. Everything is insane. In 2019, Mr. Trump was making a personalized overture to Mr. Kim in search of a breakthrough that eluded prior presidents, but those talks collapsed. And North Korea's nuclear program accelerated. North Korea was right. North Korea was right. I'm renting for $3K right now, but the houses we would want are like $8K mortgage. It's insane. Los Angeles, I'll give you an example of a housing market. Los Angeles, and I don't know how to explain this other than to say, Los Angeles, you have housing going for $1 million plus, and it is pure. I mean, it's actually filthy. Like you wouldn't want a rat to live in it. I don't know how this is possible. We're talking about bad housing and bad areas right next to the highway. $1 million fucking bucks. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is $1 million. This is $1 million. This is Los Angeles, California, folks. This is what a nice milli will get you. $1 million fucking dollars. The United States of America is a disgusting shithole. I consider myself very lucky. I'm 26 and my wife is a SAHM, and we were lucky to be able to 3-bed, 2-bath house on a golf course for $197,000. My mortgage is $1,500, but my shorty little 2-bed apartment was $1,200, so not that different. Yeah, good job, man. But even then, your house should be $800 a month. My mom bought a better house than this for $120,000 in 2012. No shit! Americans are so fucking pathetic. Like, legitimately, they are. I mean, I know that you're used to people telling you how smart you are, how cool you are, but you're fucking losers. You guys are fucking pathetic fucking losers. If you would ever vote for a Democrat again, you're a fucking cuck. I'm talking about centrist Democrats. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. The SEAL mission was intended to fix a strategic blind spot. For years, U.S. intelligence agencies had found it nearly impossible to recruit human sources and tap communications in North Korea's insular authoritarian state. Gaining insight into Mr. Oh, by the way, chat, you know what the mortgage would be on that place? If you wanted that amazing place in Vernon Avenue, Los Angeles, California, $6,097 a month. What a steal. Gaining insight into Mr. Kim's thinking became a high priority when Mr. Trump first took office. North Korean leaders seemed increasingly unpredictable and dangerous, and his relationship with Mr. Trump had lurched erratically between letters of friendship and public threats of nuclear war. In 2018, relations seemed to be moving toward peace. North Korea suspended nuclear and missile tests, and the two countries opened negotiations. Amid the uncertainty, U.S. intelligence agencies revealed to the White House that they had a fix for the intelligence problem, a newly developed electronic device that could intercept Mr. Kim's communications. The catch was that someone had to sneak in and plant it. Even for Team 6, the mission would be extraordinarily difficult. SEALs who were more used to quick raids in places like Afghanistan and Iraq would have to survive for hours in frigid seas, slip past security forces on land, perform a precise technical installation, and then get out undetected. Getting out undetected was vital. In Mr. Trump's first term, top leaders in the Pentagon believed that even a small military action against North Korea could provoke catastrophic retaliation from an adversary with 8,000 artillery pieces and rocket launchers aimed at approximately 28,000 American troops in South Korea and nuclear-capable missiles that could reach the United States. In 2005, SEALs had used a mini-sub to go ashore North Korea and leave unnoticed, according to people familiar with the mission. 2005 operation carried out during the presidency of George W. Bush has never before been reported publicly. The plan called for the Navy to sneak a nuclear-powered submarine nearly 2 football fields long into the waters off North Korea and then deploy a small team of SEALs and 2 mini-subs, each the size of a killer whale, that would motor silently to the shore. The mini-subs were wet subs, which meant the SEALs would reside immersed in 40-degree ocean water for about 2 hours to reach the shore, using scuba gear and heated suits to survive. Near the beach, the mini-subs would release a group of about 8 SEALs who would swim to the target, install the device, and then slip back into the sea. But the team faced a serious limitation. It would be going in almost blind. Typically, special operations forces have drones overhead during a mission, streaming high-definition video of the target. SEALs on the ground and senior leaders in far-off command centers could use to direct the strike in real time. Often, they can even listen in on enemy communications. But in North Korea, any drone would be spotted. As the submarine neared the North Korean coast, it launched 2 mini-subs, which motored to a spot 100 yards from shore in clear, shallow water. Mission planners had tried to compensate for having no live overhead video by spending months watching how people came and went in the area. They studied fishing patterns and chose a time when boat traffic would be scant. The intelligence suggested that if SEALs arrived silently in the right location in the dead of night and winter, they would be unlikely to encounter anyone. The subs reached the spot where they were supposed to park. There, the team made what may have been the first of 3 small mistakes that seemed inconsequential at the time. In the darkness, the first mini-sub settled on the seafloor as planned, but the second one overshot the mark and had to do a U-turn. The plan called for the mini-subs to park facing the same way, but after the second sub doubled back, they were pointing in opposite directions. Time was limited, so the group decided to release the shore team and correct the parking issue later. Sliding doors on the subs opened, then the SEALs, all gripping untraceable weapons loaded with untraceable ammunition, swam silently underwater to shore with a listening device. Doesn't that make it traceable? Doesn't that make, like, if they're like, wow, normally we would be able to trace these guns and ammo, but it seems pretty untraceable. I guess that means special operations. Every few yards, the SEALs peeked out above the black water to scan their surroundings. Everything seemed clear. Bobbing in the darkness was a small boat. On Brew was a crew of North Koreans who were easy to miss because the sensors in the SEALs' night vision goggles were designed in part to detect heat, and the wetsuits the Koreans wore were chilled by cold seed water. The SEALs reached shore thinking they were alone and started to remove their diving gear. The target was only a few hundred yards away. Back at the mini-subs, the pilots repositioned the sub that was facing the wrong way. With the sliding cockpit doors open for visibility and communication, a pilot revved the electric motor and brought the sub around. That was probably a third mistake. Sub-SEALs speculated afterward at briefings that the motor's wake might have caught the attention of a North Korean boat. And if the boat crew heard a splash and turned to look, they might have seen the light from the sub's open cockpits glowing in the dark water. The boat started moving toward the mini-subs. North Koreans were shining flashlights and talking as if they had noticed something. Some of the mini-sub pilots told officials at debriefings afterward that from their vantage point, looking up through clear water, the boat still seemed to be a safe distance away, and they had doubted that the mini-subs had been spotted, but the SEALs at the shore saw it differently. In the dark, featureless sea, the boat to them seemed to be practically on top of the mini-subs. With communications blacked out, there was no way for the shore team to confer with the mini-subs. Lights from the boat swept over the water. The SEALs didn't know if they were seeing a security boat on a hunt for them or a simple fishing crew oblivious to the high-stakes mission unfolding around them. A man from the North Korean boat splashed into the sea. If the shore team got into trouble, the nuclear-powered sub had a group of SEAL reinforcements standing by with the inflatable speedboats. Farther offshore, rotary aircraft were positioned on U.S. Navy ships with even more special operations troops ready to sweep in if needed. The SEALs faced a critical decision, but there was no way to discuss the next move. The mission commander was miles away on the big submarine. What? Huh? With no drones and a communication blackout, many of the technological advantages that the SEALs normally relied on had been stripped away, leaving a handful of men in wet neoprene, unsure of what to do. As the shore team watched the North Korean in the water, the senior enlisted SEAL at the shore chose a course of action. They didn't even have an officer on board? What? He wordlessly centered his rifle and fired. You mean shouldered? The other SEALs instinctively did the same. If the SEALs were unsure whether the mission had been compromised before they fired, they had no doubt afterward. The plan required the SEALs to abort immediately if they encountered anyone. North Korean security forces could be coming. There was no time to plant the device. The shore team swam to the boat to make sure that all the North Koreans were dead. They found no guns or uniforms. Evidence suggested that the crew, which people briefed on the mission said numbered 2 or 3 people, had been civilians diving for shellfish. All were dead, including the man in the water. Officials familiar with the mission said the SEALs pulled the bodies into the water to hide them from the North Korean authorities. One added that the SEALs punctured the boat crew's lungs with knives to make sure their bodies would sink. The SEALs swung back to the mini-subs and sent a distress signal, believing the SEALs were in imminent danger of capture. The big nuclear submarine maneuvered into shallow water close to the shore, taking a significant risk to pick them up, and then sped toward the open ocean. All U.S. military personnel escaped on... Wow, thank God the murderers got away. The murderers of innocent North Korean civilians got away. Thank God, chat. U.S. spy satellites detected a surge of North Korean military activity in the area. North Korea did not make any public statements about the deaths, and U.S. officials said it was unclear whether North Koreans ever pieced together what happened and who was responsible.
This is the world's largest military.
An elaborate military parade showcasing new weapons, really a show of force for China on the global stage.
Xi Jinping has made it his stated goal to modernize China's military and turn it into a fighting force capable of winning.
But behind the choreography, it's undergoing its most
wow.
to Xi Jinping.
Wow.
Which takes us to Xi Jinping's unprecedented corruption crackdown. Since Xi came into power, hundreds of senior officials across all sectors of the government have been taken down, including in the military.
U.S. intelligence revealing widespread corruption is behind President Xi's sweeping purge of China's military.
Our understanding is corruption was rampant in the military. I mean, we've had cases of people at the very top of the military hierarchy being tried and convicted of taking bribes to help others secure promotions.
Xi has also seen how Putin got onto the battlefield in Ukraine and discovered that corruption had meant that a lot of the equipment he thought he had wasn't actually up to par. But at the same time, corruption probes in China and in the military have a history of being political.
This is evident when you take a look.
By the way, chat, this is just the CIA being like, God damn it. Because there is the way that the CIA corrupts people is they do it. There's a variety of ways to make someone corrupt. I'm trying to remember the acronym. There's an acronym. Okay, yes, it's called MICE. I found it. Money, ideology, coercion, or ego. Okay, they call it the MICE strategy. How do you get people to betray their country, betray their people? They use an acronym called MICE. And the number one way that the CIA does it is money or coercion. That's why the CIA loves corrupt pedophiles. The ideal American spy is a corrupt pedophile. So most of the people that work for America around the world are pedophiles. This is a fact. Why is that? Well, because if you're a pedophile, if you're molesting children or consuming child pornography, that is a huge legal risk. And if it gets exposed, you'll go to prison. And so the CIA likes to find pedophiles and then promote them into positions of power because they have that ultimate leverage over them. This is a fact. In fact, in Afghanistan, our closest allies kept child sex slaves. This is not an exaggeration. This is a fact. And as we've covered a number of times on the stream, when American soldiers would encounter children being raped by American allies and they would protest, those soldiers' careers would be ended to protect the pedophile rapists that were our allies. Now, the reason why China is so much better at spying than the United States is because they're of ideology. Nobody's going to betray their friends and their family and their country because they believe that Elon Musk should have lower taxes. Okay? There's no Chinese general who's like, I'm going to betray China and my people in exchange for the ideology of trickle-down economics. Okay? Like, that's not happening. That does not happen. However, a lot of people will stand up for the idea that humanity is all equal, that capitalism and starvation of children is wrong, that the capitalist class is a parasite on the world. There's millions and millions of people around the world that will help try to destroy capitalism based on an ideological commitment. All right, like that's just so China uses ideology to try to get spies. Basically, people that are saying, I'm not betraying anything. I'm fighting for what's right. So in any kind of spy versus spy situation, on the American side is the corrupt, asocial, sociopathic pedophile. And on the communist side, you have the dedicated, true believer who's trying to make the world a better place and is willing to sacrifice their life. So China wins every time. I mean, this is just a fact. Now, does that mean that China doesn't also use coercion? Of course they do. Does that not mean they also will bribe people from time to time? Absolutely. But they also understand that somebody that you bribe to be a spy is not somebody who's going to die for you. Right? They're a sociopath. They're a greedy asshole. The moment there's any risk to themselves, they're outie. And then ego is like you get people that are bitter that they're overlooked and they're not getting narcissists. You convince a narcissist that they nurse grievances and they'll betray people for their own ego. I mean, narcissists are so dangerous that they're literally willing to betray everything because they're jealous or envious. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, let's move on.
At the officials she has removed.
Yeah, and if you want to read about what I was saying about American allies being disgusting pedophiles, there's a number of articles in the New York Times. Here's one called U.S. Soldiers Told to Ignore Sexual Abuse of Boys by Afghan Allies. This is why the Taliban won, by the way. There's a lot of racists and Islamophobes who think that Bakabazi boys raping children, that's part of Islam or something. But in reality, it's not. In fact, the Taliban banned it and was against it. It was America's tribal warlord allies that were doing the mass rapes. And so a lot of people would join the Taliban or become sympathetic to the Taliban because they encountered the American governance, and it would be like little boys being kidnapped off the street to be raped. And they didn't like that. So they started supporting the Taliban. We are putting people into power that would do things that were worse than the Taliban did. That was something village elders voiced to me. This is Dan Quinn, former special operations captain, who beat up an American-backed militia commander for keeping a boy chained to his bed as a sex slave. Every single thing I'm saying is not even an exaggeration. It's admitted and reported in the New York motherfucking Times. If you want to know why they hate us, this is why. After the beating, the army relieved Captain Quinn of his command and pulled him from Afghanistan. So in other words, the special operations captain saw an American ally was keeping a little kidnapped boy as a sex slave, and he saved the little boy, and his reward was the ending of his military career. 4 years later, the army is also trying to forcibly retire Sergeant First Class Charles Bartlett, a special forces member who joined Captain Quinn in beating up the commander.
Since taking power. During his first term, 3 high-ranking security and military officials were ousted. The 3 of them had all been appointed by Xi's predecessors and were associated with his political rivals. But it's been during Xi's 3rd term where things have escalated.
In the summer of 2023, there was an announcement that China was going to investigate corruption involving equipment purchases going right back to 2017. And then sort of within weeks of that announcement, we started to get reports that very senior people from China's rocket force were being hauled off, taken away, probed, and essentially ousted from their roles.
During this period, 15 generals who had been promoted under Xi himself have either gone missing or been investigated. That's a major shift. None of Xi's predecessors ever purged generals they had personally appointed. Among the most high-profile of them are Li Shangfu, Miao Hua, and He Weidong. All 3 men were associates of Xi and sat on the Central Military Commission. 2 of these oustings have been confirmed publicly.
Li Shangfu, now the shortest reigning defense minister ever in China.
Miao Hua is being suspended.
But little is known about the fate of He Weidong.
If China's political system is opaque and hard to read, its military system is even more murky. Often we're looking at very sort of specific events for a sign. It's sort of a game of like, you know, an opposite of Where's Wally? You're trying to like look at who isn't there when they should be.
There are absences that are noticed of senior party officials, and that is the first indication that something is wrong.
That's what happened in April.
Can you imagine if the U.S. arrested someone for corruption? Like, can you imagine the United States arresting someone for corruption? When's the last time a senior military official was arrested for corruption?
In a routine tree planting ceremony with China's most senior military leaders.
As the state media sort of camera scans across the military leaders, then people realize He Weidong is not there. He was one of the first people in over a decade to not have to work his way up the Central Military Commission. And then within a very short space of time, he's gone. And he's someone that was meant to be a loyalist to Xi Jinping.
If He Weidong's ousting is confirmed, it would mean that 3 of the members of the CMC have been purged, leaving the highest proportion of vacancies since the Mao era. So why is this important? Well, it all comes down to the thorny issue of succession.
Xi Jinping's power doesn't come from his role as president of the country. It really comes from his position as chairman of the Central Military Commission.
Whoever is chairman of the military commission, and also who is maybe vice chairman, tells you who is in power and who is maybe coming up next.
In fact, both Xi Jinping and his predecessor, Hu Jintao, became vice chairs of the CMC before rising to general secretary.
Xi has now purged so many people from the CMC that there are many vacancies on that body. And at some point, he's going to have to fill them. And so the people that he does pick will be very closely scrutinized because people are wondering, will any of them be the next leader of China?
One of the things behind the purges is to create a degree of loyalty to him as the paramount leader of China. This plays into his larger ambitions for China, and it's all part of the national rejuvenation that he has talked about since he's been in power. This includes what he describes as the unification with Taiwan, and that is why the military is so important as well.
Beijing has always endeavored to bring Taiwan into the Chinese state peacefully if it can, but would be willing to use military force if it had to.
Which finally takes us to how the purges could impact China's military readiness.
A Chinese invasion of Taiwan would be incredibly difficult.
I mean, I interpret this in a pretty straightforward way, which is he thought the guy was an ally. He found out that he was corrupt, and so he fired him because corrupt pieces of shit should not be in power if you actually want to achieve anything. And I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, he liked the guy, he promoted him, he put him in a position of trust. The guy was corrupt, he got fired. I mean, like, what else is there to say?
Theory, it could go two ways if you're removing corruption.
They say purged because it's scary. Purge is scary. Arrested for corruption, not scary. Oh my God, my voice cracked. It's been a while since that happened.
Then it could improve capability to carry out their mission. On the other hand, if you remove leaders who are popular, they could hurt morale.
So when Xi Jinping has to oust his loyalists, what does that mean? Some people will say it shows you how powerful Xi Jinping is. But then there are other people who will say it's not a sign of power when the people that you appoint in key positions in the military, you can't trust.
This creates a degree of paranoia because nobody really knows whether they're in favor or out of favor. And that ensures that Xi Jinping holds the power right where he wants it, in the palm of.
The thing about Americans, and especially our elites, is you could tell how evil they are because they can't imagine they got fired for getting caught doing crimes. Like, to an American, if you're a senator or a general, you're immune from the fucking law. You could do whatever the fuck you want. Kirsten Sinema's taking $1 million bribes right now.
His hand.
They are literally demonizing the concept of being held accountable for your actions. American centrist journalism, folks. American centrist journalism.
New weapons unveiled like this intercontinental ballistic missile, over 100 aircraft, and more than 10,000 troops. The huge parade in the heart of Beijing marked President Xi Jinping's ambition to transform China from one of the world's biggest arms buyers into a maker of all the weapons it needs for itself, and an increasingly formidable exporter on target to hit $3.2 billion across dozens of countries.
$3.2 billion in arms exports is fucking nothing. That's like actually nothing.
Analysts believe China's motivation for this huge expansion goes beyond the financial. Here's why. For much of its history, the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, relied on foreign military equipment, particularly from Russia, like this jet fighter. But in recent decades, Beijing has invested heavily in state-owned and private sector defense companies.
Self-reliance is a fundamental part of what China does in terms of military technological development. It needs to be able to supply equipment and capability very quickly to the Chinese military. And if it relies on a foreign country to do that, then the ability of the PLA to respond to any contingency effectively and efficiently and quickly is compromised.
The parade, to commemorate 80 years since the end of World War II, following the surrender of Japan, fits Xi Jinping's modernization push.
For China, this is a question of prestige. Over the last 6 years, China has made a lot of inroads in a lot of areas of military technology, and so this parade is an opportunity for China to demonstrate the growing power of its defense industry.
China's defense...
That's one of the things that I wasn't prepared for, was like all the different military equipment of China. And they were showing all sorts of advanced weapons that were never before seen.
Imports have been steadily dropping, reaching its lowest point in the period of 2020 and 2024.
Okay, so they import basically almost nothing now.
At the same time, Beijing has emerged among the world's top 5 arms sellers. But China's share of the global arms market has so far failed.
Germany sells more. Russia,
to expand much further.
We said at the time, okay, China's moved very quickly into a strong position. We're likely to see China move into the top 2 or 3 exporters. But we haven't seen that because the scope of China's defense export customers is quite limited.
That's exactly right. Basically, the United States extorts other countries and forces them to buy our fucking shitty equipment.
Chinese arms attract buyers in the global south for several reasons. The relatively low price, the wide range of products from drones to missile systems and military helicopters, fewer restrictions on how to use them compared to Western arms.
Yo, we're doing a genocide right now. Hello?
And the many different ways of paying for the equipment.
China is able to sell its equipment to countries that have not much money, that don't have many options to buy from, perhaps because the US is not willing to sell to them. China is very adept at being able to sell military equipment for minerals, or in exchange for energy, or in exchange for gas, or in exchange for many other things. But it's not able to sell its military equipment to mature markets who have a strong defense industrial base and are active in procuring equipment from the US and Europe.
Chinese arms are also still widely perceived to be inferior to Western arms. Defense experts say Chinese weapons are largely untested.
See, China doesn't invade a bunch of countries. How do you know their weapons are any good? You know, they haven't had any wars in 30 years. What a dumb country for sell. If you're trying to sell your weapons, you need to invade a bunch of countries.
Combat and suffer from quality and performance problems. Some analysts add the quality of the arms that China is exporting is not the same it provides to its own troops.
Which is the same
But in May
of
2025, during a short confrontation between Islamabad and New Delhi, Pakistan's Chinese-made aircraft reportedly managed to down India's French-made military aircraft.
We still don't know really what happened, and so I take that with a pinch of salt. But what I would say is that as Chinese defense equipment has continued to increase in quality over the last 20 years, the quality that it exports has also increased, even though it's not as strong as...
By the way, can we just say we want Chinese military arms to be as strong as possible because it will make us not go into war. We won't be stupid fucks. I want the Chinese military to be as strong as possible so that the calculation that America's dumb fucking leaders make are we can't win.
Some of the Western counterparts, for sure.
Military parades are an opportunity for countries to show off their wares to potential buyers across the world. But China is not motivated by money alone.
The driver for China in exports is not the funds, it's the influence that it can gauge in the emerging markets through the exports. When China exports helicopters to Cambodia through the provision of soft loans, China does not do that because it needs the money. China does that because it can gain a strategic and diplomatic influence in the country through which it can exercise its power.
Wow, man. Thanks. That was really specific. What would I be able to do with this amazing analysis? It can exercise its power. To do what? Bro.
China also uses the parade to telegraph its position to the world.
It is a message to the US, to US allies in the region that, hey, China is an advanced military capability and China is able to act on its strategic requirements through its military, and it better be taken seriously. That's the message, really.
All right, chat. I think we're done talking about the SEAL Team 6 shit and the Chinese stuff. Oh my God, our country is so fucked. Our leaders are idiots. We are in deep trouble.
The U.S. is set to, quote, wage war on narco-terrorist organizations. That remark from Secretary of State Marco Rubio just a day after a U.S. military strike on a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela. The U.S. has offered no evidence about who or what was on that boat, but Rubio suggested the military took the most effective action.
The United States has long, for many, many years, established intelligence that allow us to interdict and stop drug boats. We did that. And it doesn't work. Interdiction doesn't work.
Wait, the Tesla board proposed a $1 trillion pay package for Musk. No one is even buying those cars. They sold like 20,000 fucking of those stupid Cybertrucks. No one even buys those cars. Where are they getting this money? Money is so fucking fake. It's insane.
Because these drug cartels, what they do is they know they're going to lose, 2% of their cargo.
Okay, I don't want to sound like a complete hippie, but I want to say something for you to understand. The purpose of money is to create scarcity. The purpose of money is to coerce you into getting money. It's completely fake. And the more money you have, the more you recognize that it completely is fucking meaningless. I mean, Tesla being valued at trillions of dollars. Their cars suck. No one buys them. And it's worth more than every other car company combined. Explain. It's made up. It's made up. It's a delusion.
They bake it into their economics. What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them.
President Trump
How about you punish the bankers that fucking launder the cartel's money? How about we have some banking transparency so we find out, like, why do all the Western banks have banking transparency? Oh, wait, how about we bomb a boat of migrants instead?
Just the strike is an unmistakable warning to drug traffickers in the region. He said, quote, a lot of other people won't be doing it again. The week's events have heightened tensions with Venezuela.
This is how I feel right now, chat. There's no normies in here today. So we could all take the mask off.
你这次来华是对中方举办纪念活动的有力支持，体现了朝方维护阿尔干胜利成果的坚定意志，也为
providing an important opportunity to advance further friendly cooperation between our two parties and our countries. The China-DPRK friendship has deep roots. Both nations, led by communist parties, share common ideals and goals. In the face of a turbulent international landscape, China is ready to strengthen strategic communication with the DPRK, enhance exchanges and cooperations, and deepen the sharing of governing experience, and vigorously advance our socialist causes while jointly promoting regional peace, stability, and prosperity. President Xi Jinping graciously invited me to attend the commemorations marking the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War, which deeply moved me. This is the most I've seen Xi smile in so long. Oh my God. I watched so much Xi. You never get this. Hold on. Hold on. We got a rare Xi smile. Rare Xi smile. It's unbelievable. It can't happen. The World Anti-Fascist War, which deeply moved me. Commemoration was grand and solemn. And it achieved complete success in the eyes of the world. China's celebration also brings us joy. The events not only highlighted the historic contributions of the Communist Party of China and the Chinese people in their heroic fight for world peace and stability, it also emphasized China's significant international status and influence. For this, I sincerely share this joy as if it were my own. Oh, we could just be, relax. Meanwhile, we're bombing innocent civilians. Cool.
And President Nicolas Maduro, who President Trump claims is in control of a notorious criminal organization overseeing the drug trade. CNN contributor Stefano Possebon is in Caracas.
Wait, is Xi a baller? Wait, is Xi a baller? Wait, could Xi play basketball with Hassan? Come on, Xi, play some basketball with Hassan. Come on. Come on, that's the dream team. Is it Xi like 75? They could like play horse or something.
With more details.
There is still a lot of questions unanswered around the news that was broken by the President of the United States, saying that the United States took out or blew up a speedboat with 11 alleged drug traffickers that was traveling from Venezuela. And we understand that the strike occurred on international waters. We are in a country that has seen, of course, growing US pressures in the last few weeks. We're talking about at least 7 warships, as well as 1 nuclear-powered submarine that are roaming around the southern Caribbean Sea in front of the coast of Venezuela. But if you come here to Caracas, you don't really feel like this is a country in high tension. You can see that we are in a suburb that is quite actually close to the Caribbean Sea, and life goes on as usual. Of course, it's a crisis. It's a country that is still dealing with a deep economic crisis, and it's still a country that is working under an anti-democratic government. However, it doesn't feel like that war is exploding or is coming to these streets. And that is also the message that I think the Maduro's government is trying to put out, not just to its own people, but to the international community as well.
Joining me now to discuss this is Christopher Sabatini, a senior fellow for Latin America at Chatham House. Appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, Rosamund.
So it was dramatic video, 11 people killed in a US strike on an alleged drug vessel in the Caribbean. But where's the proof, and how risky is a deadly strike?
Why is Maduro disliked? Basically, he's not as competent as Chavez was, and he experienced a period where global oil prices are low and Venezuela has been fully blockaded by the US. So Chavez was very successful during a period where Venezuela was able to sell its oil to the world market at a high price, and he was able to achieve a lot of really good progress in the Venezuelan domestic economy. However, it was excessively dependent on oil revenue, and the US decided to just steal all their money and basically stop them from selling oil. So that destroyed the economy. And basically, if you work with Venezuela, you're not allowed to work with the US economy, and the US controls the global reserve currency, the global financial system, and Venezuela basically took the position of fuck you, Yankee, what are you going to do about it? And the US is like, bet. So that's basically it. And so the US has been trying to destroy Venezuela to make it an example for the world. And the one thing about Venezuela is that their oil is what's called sour crude, heavy crude, which means it requires extremely advanced refining facilities in order to make it into petroleum products that are fit for the market. Light sweet crude, which is the more higher value crude, is very easy to refine, whereas sour crude requires a lot more advanced facilities. So Venezuela depended upon America's refining capability in order to sell its products.
Like compared to an arrest and seizure of drugs.
Why do you know all these things? Well, 41 years of being a politics freak and working in policy and going to law school and studying international relations and philosophy and politics and political science, and just being also being an autodidact on top of it. This is my autistic hyperfixation
that requires verification.
There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, this is a real new and dangerous step on the part of U.S.
I've been a political nerd since I was like 7.
Interdiction efforts to shoot first and ask questions later. The video is out. It's been verified.
I was more of a history nerd. I wasn't really a political nerd, a true political nerd, until my late 20s. I was more of a history nerd until my late 20s. Then I became a political nerd.
Independent sources, but it's 11 people on a speedboat that, first of all, speedboats carrying drugs don't tend to have 11 people. But second, Trump claims that it was heading to the United States, and there is no way a speedboat of that size could make it from Venezuela across the Caribbean to the United States. So there's that. But again, do we really need 7 naval ships off the coast of Venezuela to interdict individual boats, speedboats mostly, of 11 or fewer?
Yeah, no, this is literally murder. This was literally a terrorist attack. You just bombed a random boat. This is literally murder. There's no 2 boats about it. It's just murder.
People. So it's both a risky violation.
Oh, yes, when he turned 26, history becomes political. No, it's just like the world was different back then. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like the pre-Bernie period, I was in law school and I had worked at the Committee of Urban Affairs, and I saw politics from the point of view of a dumb person, really, which was like, basically, I had this kind of stupid cynicism that both parties are the same and nothing really matters and politics doesn't matter that much. And then once I was through law school, I realized like, oh, politics is the only thing that matters. I was mugged by reality. I became completely radicalized from kind of like, I was always like kind of left-leaning socially, like, you know, believed in gay rights and abortion and things like that. But I didn't have and I was aware of class analysis and things like that. But it wasn't until I had that experience of in my late 20s. And then especially when I got involved, law school was my radicalizing moment. And then I ran for office at 29. And that's when I went from being kind of a soft-headed progressive person. And then my radicalization just kept going. And then I was fully radicalized and formed up my political thinking more. That was a long time ago, but I was old, you know? Like, I think a lot of people, if you got involved in politics as a younger person, and I was interested in it because of my history hyperfixation, but I wasn't like an organizer at 25. And the world was just different. Like, there wasn't YouTube. You know what I mean? There wasn't, Twitter was brand new. Like, social media was new. There wasn't the Bernie Sanders movement. It was like you had a couple blogs and shit. Like Reddit wasn't around. Like it was just a completely different world. It's hard to explain now that we're in this new world of like political engagement, the post-Bernie period.
Of international laws governing interdiction of drugs, certainly U.S. protocol on interdicting drugs, but also it's really, if you will, sort of hitting a small nail with a large sledgehammer. This is a really ridiculous out-of-scope policy for boats of that size and probably will continue at this rate.
Like I graduated college, like YouTube itself started in 2005. And it really didn't get super big, I want to say, till like 2007.
And given that, how dangerous is a strike like this in terms of triggering a conflict or potentially triggering a conflict in the region, with U.S. Secretary of State Rubio saying the U.S. is set to wage war on narco-terrorist organizations?
It's very risky. First of all, again, the shoot first, ask questions policy makes it even more risky because typically these boats are boarded, they check for drugs, and then they're arrested and the drugs are seized. So we don't know, again, if this boat was in fact a drug. Let's take the government's word for it. But in the future, this policy of just shooting at boats that seem to be speeding somewhere risks that it could, first of all, take out boats that are laden with human traffic, if you will, sort of undocumented immigrants. It could also risk taking out regular fishing boats or even military boats that could suddenly escalate the conflict with the Venezuelan government and really turn this into a much larger conflagration than certainly Marco Rubio and Peter Hesketh are pretending it could. But there's also the issue here is, what are the boats really there for? And I argue that the boats are effectively there really to try to scare the Maduro government into basically collapsing or resigning and setting the stage for or some form of transition. I don't think it would be a democratic transition, certainly directed by those generals around Maduro, but this is more than just the drug interdiction efforts that Marco Rubio and others have claimed. This is really a larger policy of regime change.
You think it's that extreme? I mean, you talked about this overreach. You clearly feel that this type of strike raises questions about the intended mission of the U.S. naval operations off the coast of Venezuela, and there's been a lot of speculation from it being a drug operation to the possibility of an
I mean, they just bombed a boat. All we know is they bombed a boat. They haven't provided one stitch of evidence that it wasn't just an innocent group of people or migrants or fishermen or people going out on a boat trip. Who fucking knows?
In the 90s and the 80s, we got crazier shit now. The iPhone's the latest technology. The iPhone was out in the 90s and the 80s. They got crazier shit now.
I remember, God, what was the iPhone? The iPhone 1 was 2007. Yeah. See, you guys don't understand how old I am. Like, you guys don't understand how old I am. Like, I think that people that are like 31, 32 millennials, they think that they live the same life as those of us who are like 40, and you didn't. I regret to inform you that the world was completely different. Like, if you're older than if you're younger than say like 32, The world was completely different, man. Like, you were raised with brain rot. It did not exist for me. I didn't have an iPhone. Like, I think I had this like in college, I had this like, what was the phone? It was like a square, but you could like slide a little bit. It was from Verizon. It was fucking trash. It wasn't the Sidekick, I don't think. It was the chocolate, I think. Yeah. Chocolate cell phone. Yeah, this is it. It was like this shit. We didn't have fucking iPhones. I didn't have an iPhone in college. This was like my best phone. And you don't want to know what happened, chat? On my first day at college, I transferred. Okay, so I transferred. My first day at my new college, I dropped my phone, my chocolate into the toilet. That was the worst. Mike, I'm 40. In high school, I had a beeper. I had a flip phone. Phone gray. Verizon 2002. I think this was it. I think this is it. This is the cell phone that I had for most of my, like, when I finally got a cell phone. This fucking thing. Honestly, no, this is too good. This is too good. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. It's too good. It had a black and white. I think I had like 100 texts a month I could send.
And many things in between, but that seems extreme. What's your basis for that understanding of what could be going on here?
I don't think an invasion is likely. There are only about 4,000 military personnel on those boats in the submarine. I think it's more about potentially taking out individual targets, both in the ocean as well as potentially inside through drone attacks and the like. But it's also to send a signal. The administration has made very clear that they consider this government of Maduro illegitimate, and indeed it is. It stole the elections last year. It has made very clear that it wants him out. It doubled the bounty on his head to $50 million. And it's also leaked this document that it is giving free license to the Pentagon to take out those it is designated as heads of terror narco cartels, and it named high-level officials of the Maduro government those sorts of terrorists. So this is really about trying to rattle the government. It's not about to intervene, but for a long time, the Trump administration has bargained, including in its first term, that what it can do is ramp up economic sanctions, try to ramp up political pressure internationally and domestically in the hopes that the military
That's just war. I love how every fucking liberal is now a warmonger.
So the military will defect to remove Maduro. This is just taking this the next step. An invasion isn't likely. There could be more targeted kinetic attacks, but this is really about saber rattling.
Now, Maduro is not particularly popular in the South American region, but if the Trump administration were to move forward and try to take him out in some way or some change of regime, what would be the tolerance across South America?
Can you imagine any of our adversaries coming in and say like assassinating Marco Rubio in an embassy? Like, imagine if Iran just like bombed the shit out of like an embassy when Marco Rubio was visiting, or assassinated the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff at a restaurant. Like, imagine that. And you could obviously see that that would be an unacceptable act of war.
There raises a whole series of questions, Rosemary. First of all, within the country, you're right. Probably in the stolen elections of last year, Maduro got less than 30%, which he claimed, but probably far less. So within the country, he's deeply unpopular. But any sort of effort to take out a head of state, or even take out, in a sort of selected type strike that we saw, for example, in Syria and Iraq against ISIS, would certainly rattle the entire regional community. You would see governments from Brazil to Colombia speak out against violations of national sovereignty. It would basically shatter U.S. relations and trust within the hemisphere, which are already severely weakened. So it would trigger a reaction. No one really wants to look like they're embracing Maduro or defending him, but they'll defend national sovereignty because that's a fundamental international norm.
Christopher Sabatini, many thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
All right, Chad.
Breaking moments ago.
The U.S. economy is going into the shitter. Tax cuts failed. What do you guys know? Trickle down economics didn't work. What do you fucking know? They cut taxes on the rich and the economy sucks. Who could have seen this coming?
Jobs growth slowed to a
Losing my
crawl
shit.
last
Go
month.
back.
I want to bring in CNN's Matt Egan, who joins me now. So what are these numbers? What are we seeing in this?
Well, Omar, look, after years of resilience, the U.S. job market looks increasingly fragile, especially after the latest numbers that just came out. So this report just moments ago shows the U.S. economy added 22,000 jobs in August. That is very low. It's also just a fraction of the 77,000 jobs that had been expected. The unemployment rate went up to 4.3% from 4.2%. That was expected, but this is notable because this is the highest unemployment rate since October of 2021, and it breaks a stretch where the unemployment rate had kind of stayed in this very low range. Still relatively low, but moving in the wrong direction. The other big news here, though, is what happened as far as revisions. We saw that July was revised a little bit higher. But more important was June. June was revised from a low number of just 14,000 jobs were added to now negative 13,000 jobs. It's not quite showing up on that bar chart, but June is the first month where the U.S. economy lost jobs since December of 2020 during COVID. So this breaks a nearly 5-year stretch of job growth, of uninterrupted job growth in the U.S. economy. That's the second longest stretch in U.S. history, but now it's over. And when we're digging into some of the sectors here, a couple things stand out. We're seeing a number of the goods producing sectors in the U.S. economy lose jobs, right? We're talking about construction, lost 6,000 jobs in August. Mining and logging also lost jobs. Manufacturing lost jobs as well. 12,000 jobs for manufacturing, which is, I think, pretty notable.
Wait, I thought the tariffs were gonna make us all have great fucking manufacturing. Yay, what the fuck? Oh, is the stock market not give a shit that the economy is dog shit? I can't wait for the panic. I can't wait for the next crash. I can't wait for the next stock market crash. I want these fucking bankers on their fucking knees crying. I want 1929 to look like a fucking gentle shower.
The issues in this economy is all the uncertainty over trade policy, right? Tariffs are supposed to be supporting the manufacturing industry, but instead the manufacturing industry is actually losing jobs for 4 months in a row. This is the unemployment rate going back to 2020. You see that massive spike on the left side of the screen. Of course, that was COVID, came down dramatically, stayed at historically low levels, but now on the right side of your screen, you can see it is starting to tick higher. So I think you got to put all of this into the bigger picture, right? We've gotten a number of different indicators showing that this job market really is starting to stall out. And you're looking at U.S. markets reacting. The Dow futures were down a little bit before this.
No, they're
It
down.
actually came up just a tiny bit from where
They're
they
down.
were. Not a major
Everything's going down.
reaction, I think, from investors. I think that's because in a lot of ways, this report, it probably seals the deal on an interest rate cut later this month from the Federal Reserve. Wall Street was already thinking it was basically a slam dunk. And I think that this latest weakness, including the fact that the unemployment rate is up to a nearly 4-year high, I think that's probably going to seal the deal on a rate
Today,
cut
Bitcoin
from the Fed, which is obviously something the White House has been calling for. Of course, they wanted a cut because of
Yay! Cut interest rates. Our economy's in the shitter. Yay! Everybody, we're gonna cut rates because the economy's in the shitter. Wait, the economy's in the shitter.
low inflation. That's probably not the reason, right? The reason would be because of low.
Thank you, Voices Media, for the
of course,
tier
this
3.
is the first jobs report since
TMS. Thank you.
The controversy over the regular reporting of jobs numbers last month, and so even these numbers could get revised in the future. But as you just laid out in June, the numbers could also get revised down.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, revisions are normal. It happens, right? As the BLS gets new survey responses in from the businesses they talk to, they're going to update their numbers just like a meteorologist who updates their hurricane forecast when they get new data. Unfortunately, these updates, though, they've been mostly coming into the downside and again showing that hiring has really stalled out here.
And it's negative in June. It's just the floor of that graph is zero.
Negative,
We
exactly.
can't see it.
Yep.
Matt Egan,
Thanks so much.
appreciate being on the breaking news as
Donor
always.
Special. Thank
Okay.
you for the tier
All
2.
right,
Guys, remember, we're in September. Take advantage of September by getting multi-month subscriptions. Yes, it costs more up front, but it saves you money in the long term. 30% discount. Don't forget, take advantage.
Work through this and keep that wall moment up, if you will, guys, especially with the revisions, because that was something that I know that Matt and I were talking about earlier. As we bring in now CNN global economic analyst Rana Foroohar. She's also the global business columnist and associate editor of the Financial Times. Rana, just Matt laid out the numbers as they come in. Before we dive in, just your overall take. What sticks out to you?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, this is boring coverage. Let's get better coverage.
Welcome back. The economy adding 22,000 jobs in August. That was well below estimates, while the unemployment rate ticked higher. As expected, 4.3% is the new unemployment rate. Jan Hatzius, Goldman Sachs chief economist, head of global investment research, joins us now to discuss. Welcome back, Jan.
Hi.
Good to see you're still here after the president's assault, which we'll talk to you about in a moment. But just reaction on jobs to this weaker print.
It was a little bit weaker than we had expected, but we'd been looking for a somewhat soft report with an increase in the unemployment rate, with a sort of sub-consensus job gain. I think the implication is that the labor market continues to be pretty slow. Hiring is very slow. Layoffs are still low, but the labor market's softening. And my main takeaway is that this seals the case for the cut in September that we've been looking for a while, and probably additional cuts beyond that. We have cuts in October and December as well, and I think that looks quite likely. Obviously, that's going to depend on the data, but I feel very good about the forecast.
There's also this debate about whether the Fed can start cutting now and help shore up the job market. Does it work that way?
Well, that's the idea, that you move closer to neutral, and that supports the job market in a period during which hiring is quite soft. And yeah, at the margin, that should be expansion.
Pakman and Torres, fucking assholes. Wait. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into the David. I'm about to go into the Hutch David Pakman shit. Mike, for watching my YouTube video on Ethan Klein. I've always been an admirer from afar of your streams and really appreciate your commentary. Well, admire from less afar, Rick. Admire from less afar. But I appreciate the kind words. Good shit. Good shit.
And shore up the job market, as you say.
There was some discussion yesterday out of ADP that maybe the break even was higher than we think, and that it might have resulted in a 4.5 print today on unemployment. Did that make any sense?
Well, 4.5 would have been a very large increase. So I thought, I don't think that was really on the table. Obviously, month-to-month changes.
My job just went more AI, only hiring for the Philippines now, and just had massive layoffs. Only U.S. employees were fired. Ones who have been with the company for over 5 years. It's getting wild.
In the unemployment rate can be noisy, so you always want to look at a range of different indicators. But we've been looking for 4.3%, and that's what we ended up getting.
So no SOM rule risk, or your recession odds are still, I think, in.
Okay, that's fair, brother. You got me. Hurry ever comment on streams because I'm researching, listening in the background, but fuck, I have no rebuttal. Peace, y'all. You don't have to peace out. I was just fucking with you, man. But yes, I appreciate it. I love you, man. Thank you.
High teens, maybe?
We have it at 30%. We've been there for a while.
I'm going to be watching your video, your new video on Ethan Klein soon.
But that's it on net over the last few months. It's been edging down. I think the consensus is somewhere in the 30s, but I think we'll be watching the unemployment rate. Obviously, we are adding jobs below the break-even rate. We think that's probably in the sort of 80,000 range or so, probably coming down over time. But right now we're adding a relatively small number of jobs every month.
So is it the case, and can it be the case, that job growth slows down like this and the overall economy holds up pretty well?
Well, that's what we've seen so far. The economy is still growing. GDP is growing, somewhere in the mid to high ones, probably in the third quarter. And that's our forecast.
Mike, I just resubbed at tier 3 after a long break. $100 at tier 3 for 6 months is a steal. Get in there, guys. 6 months of tier 3 for only $100? I mean, come on, that's practically free.
For the remainder of the year, as we go into 2026, we have sort of gradual reacceleration back to something closer.
What you need to understand about the markets is that numbers are made up. They're abstractions, and we can make as many numbers as we want. arbitrarily. And now that we have data centers and databases on computers, it's as simple as a small amount of electricity flipping one bit to a different bit. Okay? These things are not connected to the actual real world. So these numbers can climb forever. But what really matters is, how can you afford food? Can you afford healthcare? Can you afford a vacation? Can you afford housing? Can you afford electricity? Can you, a person working a job, have a dignified life? Are you happy? They'll call it infinite growth, and it's infinite paper being printed on infinite, and it's not even real paper, guys. Like when we say print money, they're not even doing that. Printing money involves trees being turned into pulp, being turned into paper, and then ink being printed on it. You need lumberjacks, and you need a paper mill, and you need a printing press, and you need ink, and you need printers. You need laborers. They're not even printing money anymore, chat. They're not even making paper money anymore. It's just digital pixie dust. So yes, they can infinitely grow the pixie dust.
Trend pace. We put trend US GDP growth, potential growth at about 2.25%. And, we think that we'll be moving in that direction. That's the baseline. Obviously, lots of new information all the time, and we'll update our forecasts, but that's what I'm expecting.
You think you have the year-end, where's year-end core PCE? 3.3? Somewhere in there?
3.2.
3.2.
Yeah.
So does inflation temper a rate cut cycle at all?
Well, I think we'll still get the CPI before the next FOMC meeting. I think, nevertheless, even though there's, of course, uncertainty around that, we don't have a forecast for that number yet. I think a cut is highly, highly likely, just based on what we've seen in the labor market numbers.
So we haven't spoken.
And this is true. Like now, housing is unaffordable, even for people that are at the top. The top 20% of housing can't afford a house
is a very big problem. It is probably one of the biggest problems that we face as a country. And at the root of it, I know that there's nuance here, but at the root of it is a problem of increased demand all over the place, but increased demand specifically in certain areas and constrained supply. So people want houses, they want to move out, they want their own place. More people are living alone. People are aging in place more. They're staying in their houses longer as they get older. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that constrain the construction of new homes. So you have these places where the house prices go up dramatically, but the number of houses being built doesn't go up dramatically, despite the fact that people could be making twice as much money building a house as they would like 3 years ago. Why aren't they doing that? It's because there's wild constraints on the ability to build it all. We have that problem in a few places where sort of demand continues to go up, but supply is.
I think one of the things with Adam Green is he doesn't really know that much about construction, and it's not zoning that is constraining us. It is the entire chain of construction. And it all comes back down to, we have a housing construction industry that only cares about profit. So in order to get housing constructed, that housing has to pencil out as the most profitable marginal investment. That's changing things on housing alone is not going to do that, Hank. It might even be profitable, but if it's less profitable than investing in crypto.com, then money's going to invest in crypto.com. Relying on the market is going to result in perma scarcity of housing. Just like if you wouldn't rely on the market for healthcare either, because if you do, then there will be a permanent scarcity in healthcare. If you rely on the market for clean water, there's going to be a permanent scarcity of clean water. If you rely on the market for electricity, there's going to be a permanent scarcity of electricity. Just ask Texas during a cold snap. It is market worship that has put us in this position.
Constraint. But one place that we haven't had that problem is with electricity for two reasons. One, because new electricity generation has been coming onto the grid in the form of natural gas power plants, but also in the form of wind and solar. They've been adding a lot of capacity to the grid. At the same time, there hasn't been a lot of new demand on the grid because our houses are getting more efficient, our light bulbs are getting more efficient, our appliances are getting more efficient. Because of that, demand has stayed fairly steady. It's increased, but supply has been able to increase along with it. Now, I'm not saying that energy prices are not high and that they are not a burden for a lot of people, but relative to a lot of other things, like we obviously think a lot more about gas prices and healthcare prices and housing prices than we do about electricity prices. And that's good. That's the way we want it. We don't want electricity prices to be another thing that we have to think about.
Actually, electricity should be like free. The goal of our society should be to develop a electrical generation system that is completely without impact and produces so much electricity that we have electricity hyperabundance. That should be the goal. Save the last LOL 101. Thank you for the TED gifted subs.
But we have just entered into a world where that is definitely the case. And I can tell you that's the case because of this graph, which is just the stock price of an energy company. In January of 2024, this stock was worth $38 per share. It is now, as of today, worth $208 a share. So why do we think that this stock is going to be so valuable? It hasn't changed that much. It's because everybody expects them to make a ton of profit. Why? Because demand for electricity is going to come up, but supply is being intentionally, artificially constrained. And you kind of have to ask, who exactly benefits from this? Because it's not very many people. It just slows down the entire economy when electricity prices go way up. It's obviously bad for people, and it's also obviously bad for whoever gets blamed for it. So what the heck is going on here? Why is this happening? Why is supply being artificially constrained? And what does that tell us about the people who think that they're going to benefit from this? First, though, we have to talk about demand. So we all know that demand for electricity is increasing, the biggest reason being adding a bunch of data centers to turn electricity and intellectual property into large language models and other artificial intelligence systems that will theoretically fix everything, I guess. Whatever. We know that there are a ton of data centers being built, that they're all going to come online, that they're going to use a tremendous amount of electricity to do all the stuff they need to do to turn electricity into value for their shareholders. And it's going to be like one of the first new electricity sectors. I mean, it already is like the first new electricity sector that's been added in a very long time. And it's going to be a massive consumer of electricity. That's everybody's projection. That's what everybody thinks is going to happen. I believe it's going to happen too. I don't know what the value created from it will be, but it's definitely going to be a thing. It's going to be new demand. In addition to that new demand, we're also converting some demand from one energy source to another energy source. So when you install like a heat pump to replace your furnace, what you're doing is you're replacing natural gas with electricity. When you get an electric car, what you're doing is you're replacing gasoline with electricity. So there's also a bunch of stuff that's going to take pressure off of the natural gas markets, lower the prices of those, but increase demand for electricity.
Trump Media, Crypto.com closed purchase agreement. Trump Media, operator of the social media platform Truth Social, the streaming platform Truth Plus, and fintech brand Truth.fi, announced today it has closed its recently announced purchase agreement with Crypto.com. I have never met anybody who legitimately uses any of the Trump Truth Social shit. How the fuck does it have any money? Oh, wait. Money's fake! The agreement provides that Trump Media will acquire 684.4 million Kronos tokens at a price of 15.3 cents per token as part of a 50% stock, 50% cash exchange with Crypto.com. Trump Media will secure its cryo with Crypto.com custody. Crypto.com's institutional-grade custody offering, which will enable Trump Media to stake it for additional revenue generation. The Trump Media shares of the cryo tokens will be subject to a lockup period. Trump Media is pleased to close this agreement and quickly begin to fulfill our strategic partnership with Crypto.com. We're convinced that CRO has tremendous potential to spread widely as a universal, versatile utility token and a superior form of a safe, fast payment and money transfer. And we're excited to add this innovative asset to our balance sheet. The Democrats are helping him do this. Gavin Newsom plans anti-Trump meme coin called Corruption Token.
In terms of climate impact, that's obviously a net positive in terms of like air pollution in your town. But in terms of electricity demand,
President Xi, fire.
That's more demand. And unless supply is going to keep up with it, that's going to increase prices.
One thing I'm not going to talk about in this video, but is going to increase electricity prices is cryptocurrency. Yet another thing that requires a lot of data centers and a lot of electricity. And thanks to our sponsor, Ground News, I was just checking out this story about how the Trump-backed Bitcoin company has begun trading on NASDAQ, and that was in its nice little U.S. politics blind spots. I also hadn't heard about this one, where the governor of Maryland is caught cruising on Clooney's yacht in Italy. Seems like an avoidable fate. And yet, but that's the great thing about Ground News. They show you the stuff that your news isn't covering. Like if you only see the right-wing news, you probably didn't hear about the fact that there's this Trump-backed company trading on the NASDAQ. But we've got it on NPR and NBC News. American Bitcoin, a firm co-founded this spring by Eric Trump. The way the Ground News works, it gathers related articles from all around the world in one place with context about the source's political leaning, reliability, and ownership so you can compare coverage and quickly understand. That's grounds.news/Hank.
So the question then is, will supply be able to keep up with it? And the answer is almost certainly not. That's what all these smart people who are investing in the stock market are showing us they believe, that supply is not going to keep up with demand. So there's going to be more demand for electricity. There's going to be the same amount of supply. The price is going to go very high. And all of these companies that are making electricity are going to become extraordinarily profitable because they're going to be selling a product that has very inelastic demand. Like, we are going to use roughly the same amount of electricity. Everybody who's making electricity is going to be able to charge a higher price for it because it will be a more scarce resource, and they will charge the highest price they can get. Now, some of these are regulated utilities, and maybe we'll figure out ways to like force them to cap prices, but it's capitalism, baby. The highest price you can get for a product is what is the price you sell at. And certainly in terms of the federal administration right now, nobody expects it to be like a big push for like privatizing power or increasing the constraints on what they can charge you. But why won't we be able to meet this demand? We have to first look at like the electricity mix of the United States of America. So here's net generation of electricity for all sectors by source 2001 to 2023. What you see is that coal is decreasing a lot. It's just become a less economic fuel compared to natural gas, which we're really good at getting out of the ground now. It's a cleaner burning fuel. We burn a lot of natural gas. It's the biggest piece of our pie right now. Nuclear has basically not changed over that entire time period. There are going to be some people trying to build nuclear plants, but that's going to be expensive electricity. Everyone expects it to be expensive electricity. It's very expensive to build nuclear plants. It's only worthwhile to build nuclear plants if the price of electricity is expected to go up a lot. And then the thing that is growing the fastest is other renewables, and that's going to be solar and wind. And solar, I think
Except they've completely ended all investment in solar. They've sanctioned tariffed Chinese solar panels with like 150% tariffs. We can't buy it because we don't manufacture it. Hank, you're delusional. The United States is just fucked.
Moment is smaller in that pie, but it's increasing much faster and is going to be, I think, the lion's share of the renewable electricity that we add in the future, especially because Trump is very anti-wind. He hates wind.
I never understood wind, yet I know windmills very much.
Gotta love some iced tea on a hot day. So in terms of the ways that you would expect the new demand to be filled, you would expect that to be filled by natural gas and renewable. And the one big beautiful bill did two really terrible things for our ability to meet the increased demand for electricity. Everybody is fully aware that there's going to be a huge inability for supply to increase while there's a huge increase in demand. And it is literally because of this bill. So the number one thing is that it made it much, much, much easier to export natural gas out of the United States. Now, this is a fairly difficult...
That's something that Joe Biden did. He also did an oil export terminal that would do enough climate damage as 91 coal-fired power plants. Environmentalists protest as Biden administration approves huge oil export terminal off Texas coast. It would lead to disastrous planet-warming greenhouse gas emissions equivalent to 90 coal-fired power plants. Thanks, Joe!
Thing to do for one, there's like a technological problem that we have now solved, which is that we liquefy the natural gas and we put it on giant boats, which we then ship to places to buy that natural gas.
Yeah, not America, thereby making Americans bid on their own natural gas, which they don't own because it's privatized, against any global customer. So our prices are higher, Hank. Great, more profit for the oil and gas companies.
Only reason to do that is because you can get a higher price in another place than you can in the U.S., and that will increase the price in the U.S. There will be less natural gas available to the people who need to burn it to make electricity in the United States.
Sorry for jumping on Hank, but he's right. He's right.
It looks like over the next couple of years, natural gas exports from the U.S. are going to double. That means that there's going to be less natural gas, means increased prices if you're using natural gas in your home for heat or for your stove or whatever. But it also means that it's going to be more expensive for power plants to buy it, which is going to increase the price of electricity. It's also, of course, going to increase the amount of drilling for natural gas, getting it out so that we can burn more of it. That's bad from my perspective, very bad. But in terms of price, you might think, well, that's going to lower the price. It would make it so the price wouldn't go up as much, but that's natural gas that otherwise wouldn't be economically viable to drill for. The only reason we would be pulling it out of the ground is because the price has gone up. So it's being pulled out because the price is higher. At the same time as that, there's just no more natural gas turbines to build. So there's fuel, but then there's the equipment. And the people who build the equipment are booked up. They have sold all of the ones they can build for the next 5 years at least. So there aren't any new ones we can build in the near term. Like maybe we could import them from other places, whatever. whatever. But in terms of domestic supply, they're full. They would have to build factories they don't currently have. Supply is not going to come online immediately. But along with all the rest of this, again, I will show you this graph showing that a lot of electricity that is being supplied to the grid right now is from renewables. A new bill makes renewables much more expensive to build. There were a bunch of subsidies that were part of the Inflation Reduction Act that were in part there so that there could be an increase in energy supply that are now gone. They've also increased the requirements that you use stuff made in the US. And if you've ever bought a solar panel, you know that they're a lot cheaper if you buy them made in the US. Most of them are made in China, and they're really cheap if they're made in China. They're good solar panels. And if you want to do that, if you want to increase domestic supply, like, okay, but also you should subsidize it, which they're not doing. So they're saying you have to buy solar panels made in the US, but the number of solar panels made in the US is low, and we're not going to subsidize the creation of new solar panels in the US. And we're not going to help those companies build factories to make new solar panels. And so this leads me to the big question of like, who benefits from electricity prices going up a bunch? And this is going to be a deeply cynical take and probably will not go in the direction you expect, because of course you expect, and I agree, that the people who benefit are the people who run energy companies, and those people give donations to the party that is currently in power. And so they are getting the benefit of electing the people who agree with them on how energy should be produced, which is only through the burning of fuels that you pull out of the ground that eventually will run out. But let's not think about that right now. That's certainly part of it. And how much—
They're not gonna run out. I swear to fucking God, if I hear this statement one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. We're not gonna run out. We're not going to run out of fucking oil and gas and coal until the planet is cooked. We're not running out. We're not gonna get saved because we run out. We have to leave it in the ground. We're not running out of shit.
Of this is like the Republican Party is the party of like fossil fuels, and how much of it is we are directly returning your investment in our campaigns. Whoever knows. Depends on where you sit on the ideological aisle, I imagine. Depends on how cynical you are. But a more cynical take here that I actually believe in, I think, that Americans are going to blame Democrats for this. I think they're going to look at it and say, the Democrats, they pushed too hard on solar. We should have been building coal-fired power plants. We should have been building natural gas. And the reasons prices are going up so much is because solar and wind are a bad way to make electricity. And I see all these—
Hank, the reason why that is because you voted for centrist Democrat scum and not Bernie Sanders, who would have actually invested in a program that would have achieved something, you fucking loser. You caused this by voting for a fucking milquetoast centrist corporate ghoul. This is your fucking fault, and you're right. So get rid of the Democratic Party.
Solar panels, and I see all these wind turbines all over the place. And now the problem is worse. Now electricity is more expensive. The thing that about the power system that's changing, to my eye, is not that there's a bunch of big ships like taking natural gas away from America. I don't see those. It's not that copper prices are really high globally. I don't know what the price of copper is. It's not that tech companies are building a bunch of data centers for AI. I don't see those data centers. They're not near most people. What people see are solar panels and wind turbines. That is their connection to the power industry. I think Republicans and the Trump administration have no fear. Like, there's no drawback to the prices going up because they're invested in the energy stocks. The prices of those stocks will go up. So that's good for them as individuals. They're delivering for the fossil fuel industry. Those people are going to get super rich. They're going to continue to support them and continue to deliver for them with donations. And the American people will see the price increase as caused by us switching over to—
But there's one glorious upside, chat. And is that the People's Republic of China is investing massively in renewable energy, and they're going to have super fucking cheap electricity, and they're going to have green energy. They're going to have fusion power. They're going to eat our fucking lunch, and our stupid fucking empire will fall. And hopefully, and whatever comes after, in a generation or two, they will be able to magnanimously receive the victorious Chinese soldiers on our shores to liberate our ass. Because unfortunately, this stupidity is going to take a while to destroy this empire. It's not going to fall apart overnight.
Solar panels and wind turbines. I think that that's the calculation, if any calculation is being done. They're just kind of expecting that, like, the way that people on the left think that the housing crisis is caused by some like nefarious action of individual capitalists rather than like a market problem, they're going to expect that Republicans will see that the energy crisis will have been caused by renewable energy, because it's just like, that's the simple direct line. You know that the prices have gone up. You see a bunch of solar panels and wind turbines. Mix those two things together. they must have caused each other. This is how correlations work in our brains. And this is especially true for people who are like, less likely to feel good vibes around solar panels and wind turbines because they like it less when the world changes because they are conservative. And conservative is fine. I'm obviously not conservative, but the reality will be that the thing that increased the cost was an expected and known significant increase in demand and a bill that seemingly intentionally, by increasing dramatically the exports of natural gas and also decreasing dramatically the building of renewable energy projects, estimates are that because of the big beautiful bill, we're going to build half as much wind and solar as we otherwise would have. And the wild thing is that everybody in the energy industry or who pays attention to any of this completely understands this rather simple supply and demand imbalance that is being sort of dumped on the American people. They understand this. They understand why it's happening. They understand that it's happening. People are buying stocks with the expectation that it will happen. See the prices of energy stocks skyrocketing. Everybody knows it's going to happen, and everybody knows why, because we have a bunch of circumstances that are increasing the demand for electricity and a bunch of circumstances that are suppressing our ability to make it. But it's just complicated enough that I think that the Trump administration is chances are we are going to be seen as the party that's pro-energy because we're the party that's pro-fossil fuel. And all the people who are no, we have to change things for the environment, not for prices, but for bugs and polar bears. Those people are going to be seen as the ones who caused the problem because they're not that pro-energy party. So it's a win-win to intentionally increase prices for Americans. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining this, but is that how it's going to go? Now, it will leave you with the reality that I in fact cannot predict the future. And just because a bunch of people who invest in the stock market are betting on a future, very obviously they think that this future is more likely than other futures, doesn't mean that it will definitely happen. That the big thing that could happen that would prevent this is that AI collapses. And that would do two things. First, it would make all of that demand from data centers go away. Second, it would produce an economic recession, which also would decrease demand on the electricity grid. That's the big thing that could happen that would make electricity prices not go up. Certainly there are elements of this as a bubble. There's a lot of speculation in the stock market around this, a lot of speculation in NVIDIA, a lot of speculation in companies building data centers. It's not Apple and Microsoft building these data centers. It's independent funds of rich people trying to get richer building them speculatively, almost like buying up tulip bulbs. And so it is totally possible that all this speculative data center building is a bubble that is going to pop. And in that case, this wouldn't happen. I think that would be also bad because it would be very likely that a recession would follow because of how much of the world's money is currently tied up in the AI bubble. Right now, in terms of the value of the entire stock market, something 20% of that is tied up in companies that are very exposed to artificial intelligence as a boom. And that's just the publicly traded stocks. That doesn't count, XAI and Claude and Anthropic and ChatGPT, which are all private companies that have, again, also huge many billion-dollar market caps. So I don't know. What's OpenAI's market cap? 300 billion? That's a lot. That's a lot. What's Apple's market cap? I guess it's in the trillions. 3 trillion. Okay, so it's a tenth the size of Apple.
We live in the dumbest period of our history, chat. We live in the dumbest period of time. And it's actually shocking how stupid we are. All right, chat, it's time for us to talk about the doxing shit. It is Friday. It is fun day, which means we've talked about boring ass political shit. Now it's time to laugh at Hutch. Everybody get your DSA pay-ups rolling, because now it's time to make fun of Hutch. Honestly, the dumbest motherfucker who's ever lived, who's never been right about a goddamn thing, and is a pathetic groveling worm. But is it helping his career? Is it helping his career? Is his stream popping off? I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me, is Hutch blowing up? You have the entire internet. You're going viral on Twitter because you've been doxxed and you're a 250 viewer Andy? All right. Okay. Maybe I'm being unfair. So over the last year, he averaged 401. Over the last 180 days, he averaged 318. Over the last 90 days, he averaged 290. Over the last 30 days, he's at 259. Over the last 14 days, okay. He had a little bump. Over the last 7 days, he's at 268. The last 3 days, he's at 280. So basically, this guy's line is straight fucking down. And basically, Hutch is trying to claim that Hassan doxed him because he looked at the official report of the Progressive Victory PAC that disclosed that they were paying Hutch. Hassan doxed me. Hutch in a video with 100,000 views.
My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87104. My name is Walter Hartwell White.
Oh, fuck, dude. This is incredible. Holy shit, this is amazing.
I live at 308 Negra.
It hits so well because of how bald Walter White is. This is how it works, by the way. Hassan makes some insane and baseless claims that his little digital minion foot soldiers run with it. The notion that Destiny ran progressive victory or that it was a pro-Israel pack is completely fabricated. Bad and Panada made it up. Hassan ran with it. Here we are. Destiny. Whatever happened with progressive victory? I know Steven said he is done with the progressive label, but their canvassing thing isn't pinned anymore, even though they are planning to canvass at the end of June. Is this part of reframing himself more center-left? Forethought. It's not pinned because there's other community shit to pin, and I only have 2 slots. He's still partnered with Progressive Victory and doing canvassing. Destiny, from his own chat in March. I just never imagined how all the vulture stuff would be after helping so many of those people. Like the entire Progressive Victory paid out millions in wages to all these people, and the whole thing only existed because of me, on top of a billion other things. In January, Destiny and Progressive Victory are launching the first Destiny MVP canvassing house. Here's what we're doing, why we're doing it, and why we need your help. Destiny feels a responsibility to do his part to win this election. He has the community, and Progressive Victory has the expertise in Federal Election Commission compliance, segmenting voter data, and connections with the Democratic Party and the press. We are launching our first Destiny MVP house in a swing state, and we are asking for your help to fund it. Once we could show this model works, we will go to institutional funders, another Progressive Victory expertise, and ask them to help us expand the project. To help support the project, please hit this link. More details in my comment below. So in other words, Hutch's argument that Destiny has nothing to do with Progressive Victory is one of the biggest dumb shit lies I've ever seen in my entire life. But that's Hutch in a nutshell. Not only is he stupid, he's really stupid. Hutch disingenuously whining about being doxxed and yet another contrived attempt to deplatform Hassan Piker has drawn the attention of the Eye of Sauron and led him to be doxxed for real this time. Oh my God.
Here's a video clip of Ethan Klein doxing a random Instagram commenter on his show. Ethan goes through the guy's Instagram, brings up
that. What are we calling doxing? Like, hold on, doxing meaning filing a lawsuit, like a public filing of a lawsuit. We're calling that doxing. We're calling. So I remember what he's talking about here. Some guy, I think it was the guy who replied to a Gila Instagram post where she had gotten a tattoo of, I think, a Star of David. And I think the person left a comment saying, like, you belong in hell or something like that. And then Ethan brought up the guy's, like, public Instagram when he was live streaming on YouTube. Are we calling that doxing? Is that doxing? You're saying yes, that is? Hold on a second. Hold on. Hang on. Shut the door for just a minute. Hold on. To publicly identify or publish private information about someone, especially as a form of punishment or revenge. How is that doxing?
So, by the way, chat, doing a frivolous lawsuit and sending private investigators to uncover people's full name and real-time address, including the street address, and then publishing the unredacted legal documents to your millions of fans is fucking doxing. Okay? All that was done with Hutch was exposed the city and state he lives in and the amount of money he was paid by a PAC. But here's Hutch justifying, oh, well, it's a public document, it's fine.
Was he doing these baseless? Not only was he doing these baseless accusations, he doxed us. He doxed us. He doxed us. It's like prominently featured on his screen. Like, hello? Hello? Are we like, I don't know what to say, man. I mean, like, I reported the VOD. The VOD is still up, you know, like you can find the VOD on his channel. I reported the VOD. I sent an email to like Twitch support. I added them. Like if there's no consequence for this, like I don't know what are there's just no rules. Like I don't understand. It's a blatant violation of Twitch's doxing policy. Like if you go to their policy, this is what it says about doxing. Doxing of any kind is prohibited by Twitch's community guidelines, even if the perpetrators only expose information available via the public record. If your personally identifiable information is released on Twitch without your consent, you can file a report and we will investigate and enforce against the doxer if appropriate.
Now, meanwhile, these guys have done, including looking up Pennsylvania voting records. This is something that Hutch himself spread. They looked up Pennsylvania voting records under my name and saw that I wasn't registered to vote in Pennsylvania anymore. And they said Mike didn't even vote when I had been out of Pennsylvania and had registered in a different state for well over a year at that point. But they doxed my old information and improperly used the voting rolls to look it up, which you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to look up somebody's voter rolls for the purpose of humiliating them or attacking them or do any kind of business purpose. It has to be purely for the purpose of political campaigning only. So they violated the law. They committed a felony in Pennsylvania. Now, and they looked it up for the purpose of defaming me and saying that I didn't even vote when I vote in every election and have for a very long time.
What Hassan did is a blatant violation of their doxing TOS.
No, it's not. And the reason why it's not is because it's not private information. And everything that has been exposed is newsworthy and this is the most important part, voluntarily disclosed. Okay? So there's a strong public policy reason. It is not a private detail. It's not like, I'll give you an example of a document that is not appropriate, which is, let me look at the Twitch TOS. They give examples. In the Twitch TOS, just because a document is public doesn't mean it's appropriate to bring up on Twitch. Real name. He's already given his real name. That wasn't doxing. Okay. Nobody exposed his secret real name. He's already given his real name. So that information was voluntarily disclosed and repeated, not doxing. Contact information. No. Social security number. No. Home address. No. Employer. No. Credit card numbers. No. Bank account numbers. No. Personal photographs. No. Social media profiles. Not in any, because Twitch is Hutch is a partnered streamer. This does not apply. So these are the things. Doxing isn't necessarily illegal if the information exposed is part of the public record. Such as information includes arrest records, marriage certificates, major traffic violations, and real estate transactions. If someone accesses and publishes these records, even without your consent, they may not be doing anything illegal. Now, Twitch doesn't want you to do this, right? But none of these are the records we're talking about. We're talking about non-public, totally public PAC disclosures that do not include any banned information. And no way is what Hassan did, even under Twitch's expansive TOS, doxing. Hutch is a fucking idiot. I've never watched this loser's content, but in every clip I've ever seen him, he comes across as a complete fucking moron. How does he have viewers? He used to be a very big COD streamer. And in the political realm, he doesn't have viewers. All right. He doesn't have viewers. That's the reality of the situation. And here's what I wrote. And this is what I want you to understand, chat. Twitch agrees with me. Hutch, you accepted money from a political PAC so that you would offer political commentary in alignment with their political objectives. In this country, there is a wide public policy interest in uncovering paid influence operations in politics. You took the money. It is reported. Now, I'm not saying that somebody should leak his home address. I'm not saying somebody should leak his phone number. I'm not saying that Hutch should have his credit card number published. But if you take $2,000 from a political PAC for the purpose of advertising, where are they advertising it, Hutch? Your stream, which you did not disclose, violating federal election communications guidelines. If anything, you violated the law, Hutch. In fact, we should be filing complaints to the Federal Election Commission because you never disclosed when you were doing your advertising content. Unless the PAC is filing false disclosures and it's a slush fund, in which case you're committing fraud and extortion. So which is it? You violated Federal Election Commission guidelines of not disclosing when you were doing a paid advertisement for this political PAC, or two, the PAC is committing accounting an electoral fraud by giving slush fund payments under false pretenses. Which is it? Which crime did you commit? I mean, he wants more attention on this, chat. So let's give him the attention. And as far as like Hutch not being part or this shit not being a part of Destiny's community or whatever fucking pathetic lie these losers are spreading. One of the people Hassan was gleefully doxing a few days ago while lying to his audience about a pack I have zero formal association with. LOL. This is Destiny. Saying he has zero formal association. This was from what, 2 days ago? Progressive Victory. This is the Destiny Wiki. Progressive Victory is a political action committee that is focused on trying to combine online activists, creators, and volunteers with more mainstream political movements. Destiny is working with Sajin and various others to set up and fund deep canvassing efforts across the U.S. in 2024 political season. It's on the Destiny Wiki. He's still partnered with Progressive Victory at doing canvassing, a formal statement by a mod on Destiny subreddit. Progressive Victory, the whole thing only existed because of me. I mean, what can you even say with these people? What can you even say? Other than, wow, 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 wow. Damn, that follower count. His follower account has been declining since April 8th of 2021. And it looks like it was botted to get to that spike. Damn, that's crazy. Whatever happened to the COD, man? Why'd you quit doing COD content? And this is where Ethan Klein brought Hutch onto his fucking live stream to try to do another attempt to deplatform Hassan.
And it's really interesting to see how they deployed the Destiny boogeyman. Like, Destiny is not even involved in this pack. He's still somehow able to deploy Destiny as this omnipresent boogeyman.
This is what they do. Like, when that crowd identifies you as an enemy for deviating even just 1%.
Are you submitting that Israel isn't conducting a genocide on Palestinians? Yes, I'm saying that. Doesn't mean that Israel isn't going too far, or that too many Palestinian civilians are dying, or that we don't need to find a way to end this conflict as soon as possible. It just means that Israel is not trying to literally destroy the Palestinian people of Gaza. This was 1 year into the war.
From their orthodoxy,
if their intent is to destroy the population of Gaza, one would think they would kill them off at a higher rate than the birth rate in that region, which they are currently not doing. By the way, chat, this is a sign that somebody is just profoundly fucking stupid. If you're using pre-war population projections versus actual census data that cannot be completed because all of civil society in Gaza has been razed, and you're using pre-war population projections, this is just Nazi shit. This is Holocaust denial.
They will call you a Zionist.
And that is part of the reason why Israel is bombing hospitals.
Does anybody dispute this?
Bombing hospitals is a war crime.
No, it's not.
Okay? Bombing hospitals is a war crime. In your conversation.
And they will call you a Destiny orbiter, even though I have not spoken to Destiny since January.
The panel is scheduled for tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Here are the current confirmed panelists. Destiny. And then a bunch of who Omega lols, and then Hutch. I guess the fact that you're doing a panel with Destiny is I mean, you're still working with them. Oh my god, dude. A chatter found this. What is this link? Are you trying to get banned? What is this link? 24-hour timeout.
Orbiter, Hutch?
I have never been a Destiny orbiter.
I've been thinking about the Destiny situation a little bit more, guys. I've been thinking about that situation a little bit more. I don't regret distancing myself from something that was very radioactive. Like, every creator has to consider their own reputation and their own, like, brand. That's not a moral calculation. It's just, that's like a necessary calculation that every creator has to make. What I do think I regret was, like, talking about it in detail. I think looking back, I wish I would have just put that space and just not talked about it.
Destiny is brain dead. He's an actual brain dead moron. He's bad at debating. He is literally Charlie Kirk. He selects his opponents for stupidity. Anytime he actually debates anyone who knows what they're talking about, he gets on their fucking knees and gets slapped around. When I debated him, when Michael Brooks debated him, like, he's dumb.
I mean, they claim that I'm a Destiny orbiter, and I've never even spoken to him. I don't even fucking know the guy. And I'm a Destiny orbiter.
And it was after October 7th
when Hassan's chat was like spamming insane shit. And I went over it on stream, and I think Ethan DM'd me and he asked me, he was like, wait, where did you get the chat message from? And I told him, I think this might be 2 years ago.
And of course, if you saw the Ethan Klein glaze of Destiny on his Instagram stories, where he admitted to, and when the pedo troll shit got leaked, it showed that he was a Destiny fan for the last 15 years. That Ethan Klein confirmed as real. Which brings us on to the next video. We have a video from Rick Storm on Ethan Klein's cataclysmic downfall. And ladies and gentlemen, this is so fucking awesome because it's just this guy talking to random people about Ethan Klein on the street.
I'm familiar.
What do you think of him?
Bad.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I do.
What do you think of him?
Not a huge fan.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Oh, yeah.
I sadly do. What do you think about Ethan Klein?
Not a fan.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Have no idea.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is? Do you know who Ethan Klein is by chance?
I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
No, I do not.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
No, I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein
So just for the purpose of transparency, showing every single person he talked to, they either hate him or they don't know who he is.
Is?
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Welcome in. When I attended North Coast Music Festival, I did ask a few different questions. And one of them that I thought would really hit home is, what were the attendees' thoughts about Ethan Klein? This is someone who was incredibly popular. H3 was a booming success. And then in recent years, it took a turn for the worse. Everyone who watched the Hassan Piker, Ethan Klein debate, if you even call it that, left with a bad taste in their mouths because you could clearly tell something just didn't add up. Ethan could not give good answers. He resorted to very childish tactics, and I think it's almost microcosmic of what he has become over the years. So to get honest feedback, I asked people if they knew who he was and what they thought about him. If you can, before we get to that, please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more that is coming on this channel. Here that is.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Sadly do.
Okay, what do you think of him?
I'm a Hassan head, so the other side.
Yeah.
The other side of the same coin, I guess you get.
Did you see the recent news about him?
Was recent news.
That he had a Reddit page that was uncovered about him having the user.
Destiny that had that Reddit page. Okay, well,
what's the Destiny Reddit
I thought
page?
Destiny had the Reddit page that got uncovered. Maybe I'm a little out of date, but I know there's a bunch of names that are, that's
Okay, so let me just tell you real quick, then I'll let you go. It's Tito_troll. Is that the one that you're thinking of?
Yes, that's.
Okay, that was Ethan Klein, which he admitted to.
Oh shit. Okay, well. No, not a fan.
I mean, they're both doing pedophilic shit, so it's not like, one pedophile, the other pedophile. You can confuse the two. It makes sense.
Yeah.
This guy's touching grass and being tall and normal.
That's awful.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Do I know what?
Who Ethan Klein is?
What?
Ethan Klein.
I have no fucking clue.
Great answer.
Okay, this guy's he's got the full Bulls drip. He's got the full, what is this, 1997? Like, what the fuck's happening? This guy's awesome.
He's some streamer that is butting heads with Hassan Piker and others.
Well, fuck that motherfucker.
Appreciate you, bro. Have a great time.
Like, honestly, the street interview guy, I don't know how you fucking do this. I find this content to just be rough. Talking to the dumbest motherfuckers in the planet. Although these people seem like they're good vibes. But god damn, dude.
Who Ethan Klein is?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of him?
Okay, so, when I was in college, I thought he was pretty funny. And then I found out how, how super hardcore, is pro, fucking, not the thing where...
Zion.
He was so pro-Zionist. I'm he's come on, look at the facts, brother. Look at the facts, brother.
Do you have any advice for him?
Get divorced and stop.
The king is right, though. The king is right. Can I be completely honest? If Ethan Klein divorced Hila and just completely abandoned his Zionism, that is the only way I could see a redemption arc for him. I'm like, that's literally good advice. It's literally good advice. Downsize that house, move the fuck out of Bel Air or wherever you're living. Stop shopping at Rodeo Drive. Get yourself a nice 3-bedroom house. maybe 4-bedroom because of the kids, and just be normal. Pick up golf or something and get into therapy, especially over your poop obsession. Get into some really intensive therapy 7 days a week. Honestly, hire a live-in therapist.
Harsh feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I support the. I support.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Have no idea.
Sweet. Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I probably should, and I don't. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Wait, who is that?
He's a streamer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Ethan Klein. Why does that sound familiar?
He's a streamer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I've heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you haven't watched him.
I might have on Instagram once.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the clip?
No, I don't.
Okay. What do you think about Ethan Klein?
He's not very memorable, other than he's like the type of streamer that when you watch, you're like, why do people watch this? And you turn it off. At least that's what happens with me. Every time, like, honest to God, I talk about this all the time. The big problem I have with my enemies is like doing research on them at all because they're so unwatchable and so unintelligent, and there's so much dead air. It's so much coughing and sniffling and just like boring ass content, and they're not funny and they're repulsive and just everything sucks. So how do you do research on Ethan Klein? You can't, because it's so pointless. It's so ugly. It's so hideous. It's so annoying.
Not a fan. I have seen a couple of his points and arguments, and I personally don't align with them.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Damn.
Of the Calvin variety? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know.
No, I'm not. Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I'm familiar.
What do you think of him?
Bad. You know, I don't want to get into it, but I think we can all agree, bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to get into it if you like.
A Zionist, not great. Recently, he's had things come out in which he claimed to make pedophilic comments
On
as
Reddit.
a joke, which I personally don't think is ever funny.
The baddies do not like Ethan Klein.
I think this weird hyperfixation he has with people online that report on the things he does is very weird. Like between Hassan Piker and Taylor Lorenz, like him beefing with journalists is weird. It's their job to report on things you do. I'm sorry.
Powerful people don't like
Get the snaps going,
journalists.
Chad. Get the
they hate
snaps going.
journalists.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Ethan Klein? God bless Ethan Klein. Of course I do.
All right, sweet. Appreciate
God
it, bro.
bless you, sir.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is? Do you know who Ethan Klein is by chance?
Keep it that way. I feel like this guy is doing more advertising for Ethan Klein than anyone has ever done.
I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
No, I do not.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
No, I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is? Yeah. Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I do.
What do you think of him?
Not a huge fan.
How come?
Just the general vibes. I don't know. I wouldn't say I know enough about him to really have an opinion, but the general vibes I don't love.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I do not.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
He looks like he smells bad.
Oh, shit.
Not dodging the poop allegations. My favorite thing to reinforce her point is the H3H3 green room rug. If you guys can find it. Oh, fuck. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. This is what the green room rug looks like at H3H3 podcast. Look at the floor, man. Look at the floor. Like, listen, I understand spills and things happen, you know, maybe even a stain or two. But this isn't one stain. This is not one unfortunate stain. There's so many stains and there's so many mystery gloops everywhere. Off the rug, on the rug, not cleaned up. Like, what is this? It looks like spilled dried milk, chat. You know it's stinking there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like his wife, but I mean, he looks like he kind of, like, doesn't shower.
She likes his wife? What? Ew.
So.
Is that your feedback for him?
Yeah, take a shower, Ethan. Like,
Yeah.
you look like you need it.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is? Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Ethan Klein. I do not.
Pope, do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I don't.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I don't. I do absolutely know who H3H3 is.
Yeah, what do you think about him? You can be honest.
Time to retire, I think. I don't want to come at him, but I mean, do your thing. New world, varying things. But he's an
Not one positive? Time to retire? You look like you smell? Oh.
intriguing guy.
Intriguing.
Yeah, definitely has some takes that I don't necessarily agree with, but I think that's life and meeting new people or something like that.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
I do, yes.
What do you think of Ethan Klein at H3?
See, I don't follow it much. I just see, like, you know, headlines and stuff. I read some of the articles, but I think I definitely, you know, I support the rights and the freedoms of the Palestinian people. and I definitely do not agree with most of the actions that the Israeli government has been.
Can I just say, this is what I tried to explain. This is another Mike was right moment and Hassan was right moment. We tried to explain to Ethan, bro, if you have pro-genocide takes, there's nothing we could do to make our audience like you. Do you understand that? If you're out here advocating for genocide, there's nothing we can do to help you, man. There's nothing we could do to boost you. Your takes are bad. Young people despise your takes. They despise Israel and the genocide. If you go down this line, everyone's going to hate your guts. It's not our fault. And Ethan Klein would just like blame Hassan and everyone else because we're not banning enough people in their chat. We're not censoring enough people.
Doing with the war recently, but at the same time, I believe that the Palestinian people deserve a better representative than Hamas. You know, all the freedom to them, free Palestine. I think both.
Listen, that is a fucking red herring, man. They're annexing the West Bank too. They don't have Hamas there. Like, it's not Hamas that's the representative of the Palestinian people. It is the fact that the United States of America and Israel are oppressing Palestinians. And of course, there's going to be resistance to that. And I think it's fucking disgusting to second guess resistance to genocide and apartheid. Like, come on.
Him and the H3 and the Ethan Klein and also Hassan, I think both sides are inflammatory. They're just fighting. It's not productive. It's not supportive to any movement. And, I just wish they would have a more...
This is enlightened centrist victim blaming.
...productive debate with everything, I think that's like something we need in this current political climate.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
No, but I know what a Klein bottle is. Do you know what a Klein bottle is?
No, tell me.
You know what a Mobius strip is?
I do not.
It's a
Sorry.
3D object that has all surface area, no volume. Yeah.
I'm a visual learner. I have to look this up.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
I will.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
From like true surface level, looks like a silly guy, but like that's what they all seem. I don't know.
Streamers?
Yeah, it's like that thing where it's like, oh, I'm a kid's YouTuber, Minecraft, and then like the allegations come out, you know? Like that's, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Okay. We'll leave it there.
This guy's got good instincts.
Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
Absolutely.
What do you think of Ethan Klein?
Oh. The downfall should be studied.
Why do you think it's such a hard downfall for Ethan?
It's a really sad story. I mean, it's a lot of mental health stuff, so I think that needs to be talked about, but it's also a lot of personal stuff too. So, but he's such a public image, so it's worst story. It's sad to see, we really like the H3 days, so.
Are you no longer a fan?
I would say so.
Who do you watch now?
I'm kind of off the YouTube stuff now, so more into podcasts and all that.
For troll's sake, thanks for the 10 tier ones. Not one fucking fan of Ethan Klein. Not one. And all of them name his disgusting genocide support as one of their main reasons of not liking him. Not one. Like, it's just, what a pathetic fucking loser, dude. What a pathetic fucking loser. We tried to tell you, dude. We tried to tell you, but you won't learn. And now you're bringing Hutch on. He tried to elevate Lonerbox. Fail. He tried to elevate Dan Stockman. Fail. He tried to elevate Hutch. Fail. Just stop. Just stop. The H3 podcast, it's Jover. And there's something like, okay, chat, I remain humble. But I can't help but notice that every time somebody comes after me, they have horrifying skeletons in their closet and they self-destruct. Every single time. And there's another victory. There's another victory that I want to report on our Friday fun day. Tectone quits streaming. I have defeated yet another enemy. Another freak down.
But I'm going to be gone for a while, guys. And I want to let you know, if any of you guys think it's because of me streaming or me being stressed because of the YouTube's, upload schedule, it's not. I love content creation. I do. It's just the culture that I have a problem with. But if you're just here to know this, no, I'm not coming back yet. No, I'm not going to be back for a while. And yes, I do miss you. because I love you. No, I miss making content for you guys. I really do. And I will say, expect a couple YouTube uploads, maybe like one a week. I'll just be talking to you guys about whatever comes into my mind, maybe more. But I needed to get away for a while. I really did. In case you're wondering why, there are evil people on this earth that are currently making my life fucking miserable. Even more than you guys know. It is deeply personal shit that I'm having to deal with right now. And a lot of it, and I'm not going to go into this too much, but there's a lot of very dangerous things happening in my life right now that I'm just trying to take care of and take care of the people around me, the people who I love. And I'll probably talk about that later. But when I do come back, I'll post about it on Twitter. I'll post about it on YouTube. And just thank you guys for staying subscribed. And thank you guys for liking my videos. And I look forward to coming back to content creation for you guys. But once again, it's just not going to be for a while. What's up, guys? This is now my third time trying to record this video. I think that goes to show.
You know, one of the things that happens in content creation with me in particular is I am not the person who wins the battle alone, but I am the vanguard. As soon as somebody starts sticking knives in my back, even if they're subtle, even if it's like, well, if they frame it as constructive criticism, right? Every single time somebody starts stabbing me, it's usually for some sort of weird secondary objective or ulterior motive because they don't watch me. Every single person who has come after me, without exception, does not watch my content, does not know what I believe, does not know what I advocate for, has a caricature of me in their head, which is why they lose. Because they know who my enemies are, and they're trying to curry favor with those enemies. And the problem that they encounter is that my community is a lot stronger. My friendships and my connections are a lot stronger than seems at first glance. Because I try to stand on my own 2 feet. I don't rely on anyone else. I don't excessively, make my connections and my friendships explicit in the public domain. Because I don't care. You guys aren't entitled to that, to be quite frank with you. You're not entitled to that. I will support people that I decide to support when I decide to support them. And I have very high standards. Hey, Mike, 5-year-old talking point for Reddit. If you look at the way people criticize me, they do not criticize my takes. They do not criticize my arguments. They do not criticize my beliefs. They do not criticize my praxis. They make, at the most, they'll say stuff about my identity. They'll say stuff about some conspiracy that is not what I believe. They'll say something about my appearance or my vibes or the fact that I'm loud, but there's never anything substantive to go off. Or they'll make baseless accusations that are not based in fact. And it is the reality of what I face. And the thing is, I have defeated so many content creators who have come after me over the years. I should honestly put together a list. I mean, you guys could, old heads, start putting names in the chat. I will not confirm them, but you go ahead. I mean, it's fine by me. There are so many content creators who have took swipes at me over the years. It's actually insane. The only person who gets attacked more than me is fucking Hassan himself.
Just how fucked up I am, because I'm usually like a one-take guy. It's been a couple days. I've been gone for about 5 days. Maybe you haven't even noticed. You probably haven't even noticed. If you see this video, it means I'm already gone. Title of the video. Techie, I thought you were dead. This video title's
here for 6 months. Let's be honest. The midterms are coming. If you're here right now, if you're here in September on a Friday afternoon or morning, you're going to be here 6 months from now when the midterms are really starting to kick off. Let's be fucking honest, okay? You might as well subscribe for 6 months and get the discount. You're going to be here. You might as well just give me the money now and save yourself a couple bucks.
and I need to watch everything that I say.
Let's be honest. The midterms are coming. If you're here right now in September day afternoon or morning, you're going to be here 6 months from now when the midterms are really starting to kick off. Let's be fucking honest, okay? You might as well subscribe for 6 months and get the discount. You're going to be here. You might as well just give me the money now and save yourself a couple bucks.
And I need to watch everything that I say. And I just can't operate underneath those. I can't operate like that. I can't. I'm a guy who tells you guys everything. I'm the guy.
Basically, Tectone has a number of overlapping crises. Number one, all the pro-Trump shit is falling off because everybody's starting to hate Trump again. 2, he was exposed as being one of Twitch's biggest botters, which was a major, it basically slashed 60% of his view count. 3, he's facing legal trouble and being advised by his attorneys to shut the fuck up and stop posting and stop talking because, he might be facing serious civil or even criminal consequences, which he alluded to when he said an evil person lied.
Who likes breaking the distance that a lot of these people in this space who lie to you, I like letting you guys know on what's actually going on. And that's why a lot of people can't stand my ass. And, there's a lot of...
What do you mean? You're a fucking disgusting botter, sexual harasser. Your father's a rapist. You're a misogynist. You've been accused of your own sexual improprieties. What the fuck are you talking about? People don't like you because you're an evil son of a bitch and a coward. And you manipulate the platform. You bought yourself viewers to make yourself look like a more popular streamer than you are, which is why when you were a 7K average viewer, you had 1,000 subs because your real viewership was closer to like 1,500. And that's by being Asmod Gold's fucking butt boil.
Other reasons too. I mean, I'm fucking loud, bald, weird looking. I don't want to say ugly. Well, I'm working on it. Okay. I'm down 100 pounds, right? I'm really trying my best here. But man, like, I haven't showered in like 2-3 days or some shit, bro. I'm fucking going full like grease goblin right now, man. It's gross. Oh, I got a new tattoo, by the way. It's mango with the frost born in his mouth on the tombstone, like from Dark Souls 1 with Galatians 4:16. That's my favorite Bible verse on there. There's a reference to Sith from Dark Souls 1. And I also got a nice bonfire for anybody who didn't get it, and also because it looks fucking hype. Getting more tattoos, so probably getting a collarbone tattoo and getting all this.
Wait, what verse did he suggest?
For anybody on there, there's a reference to Sith from Dark Souls 1, and I also got a nice bonfire for anybody who didn't get it, and also because it looks fucking hype. Getting more tattoos, so probably getting a collarbone tattoo and getting all this arm sleeved up. Getting the American.
I became your enemy because I told the truth about your father, your sex criminal father. Where then is your blessing of me now? I could testify that if you could have done so, you would have torn out your eyes and given them to me. Have I now become your enemy by telling you the truth? Favorite Bible verse. What a fucking dumb fuck.
Flag pretty soon with a little bit more than the American flag, but I'm very excited about that. But yeah, the problem with my life currently is
seriously crazy. Thanks for the 48 months.
I don't get any time to feel okay. I don't get any time to relax and say, I'm good. I can chill for the day.
You're a fucking streamer. That's every day. That's every fucking day. I'm sorry. I don't mean to use misogynistic language, but you are a fucking testicle, dude. You're a fucking streamer. You sit in your house all day. It's the easiest job in the world. It's legitimately the easiest job in the motherfucking world is to be a content creator on the planet. Like literally, you make your own hours. You talk about what you want to talk about. You do what you want to do. You don't have a boss. What the fuck are you talking about? I can't relax. Every day is a fucking relaxation. Every day is a goddamn dream. I want to tell you this, chat, that if this motherfucker had to show up for a full-time shift at McDonald's, his cranium would be 1.5 pounds lighter by virtue of explosively projected metal within 2 weeks. You have a job as a streamer, bro.
And what do I mean by that? My problem is so much of my life has been taken away from me by a lie that I don't get to go to sleep and think, oh, well, I didn't do anything bad today, so I'm all good. You know, back in the day, it was like, oh, man, I fucked up. I know they're going to clip that. And that's going to be on this Reddit. That's going to be on that Twitter. That's going to be on that fucking forum. They're going to fucking rip into me.
Yo, how is cyberbullying real? Just turn off the computer, bro. How is cyberbullying real? As somebody who they've tried to cyberbully when I was a 200 viewer Andy, as long as I was making money and I had a good community around me, oh no, Destiny doesn't like me. It never bothered me. What the fuck are you talking about? Just close your fucking eyes, bitch. The self-victimization is real because he's facing this shit because he has harmed other people and tried to bully other people and has assaulted other people and mocked rape victims and threatened to rape people and threatened his rapist father on people and used slurs. And people said, Tectone, I don't like that guy because of his accusations that were made against him. Every single day, I wake up and I stream. I am grateful for my community. I never have 1 second of anxiety about my own community because I control who is here. And you people are the best. You're kind, you're generous, you're friendly, you're accepting, you're curious. You're constantly striving to make the world a better place, to make this community a better place. You are not hypercritical of me. You show me solidarity. You show me charitability. We learn together. I learn from you. I hope I teach you. It is fucking great. I'm never worried about my community being weird. The only stress I get from content creation is mostly from people who are jealous of me or envious of me, who think they feel entitled to my support without offering me 1 iota of friendship or kindness or reciprocation. That is the main source of my anxiety and stress in this job. It is not people in my community. It's not even my enemies. It's the lukewarm people.
And that's comforting, because then knowing if I don't do anything fucked up, then I'm fine. The problem is that because I'm now in a position where there's this massive lie told about, I never get to rest ever. I wake up every morning.
By the way, chat, this is a sign of being a malignant narcissist. You're so concerned about your public persona and it's an obsession to the point where you cannot rest. That's a fucking sign of being a malignant narcissist, because the true you and the you that you want projected to the world is different. So you have to constantly patrol the world for signs at the crack that the mask is slipping. Now, I don't like being slandered, and I push back about it, but I get slandered every fucking day by people who have no idea who I am and don't watch me. You know how frustrating that is? You know how disgusting that is? But you know what happens? I realize that my life is incredibly privileged and blessed. I have the ability to connect with people that are actually good people.
In the middle of the night, just wondering, did they lie again? Did someone else lie? What false narrative is the public going to believe about me? And it's annoying as shit.
Chad, I know so much about Tectone that I wish I could say. I know so much about Tectone I wish I could say, but I won't, because I believe that people need to tell their own stories. But I honest to God believe he's going to prison.
Like, once again, I love YouTube, I love Twitch, but the culture of the internet is fucking
The culture of the internet is you stalk people, you scream slurs at people, you say that trans people should be erased, you cheer on migrants being kidnapped, you cheer on people being oppressed for protesting a genocide in Gaza, you cheer on rapists, you cheer on victimizers and scammers. Like, what are you talking about? You are everything that sucks about the internet. You're everything that sucks about our culture and our society. You are a mediocre slob abuser, and you have a platform because you cheated Twitch by botting it. There is not one redeeming characteristic about you. You're not attractive, so you're not interesting, you're not funny, you're not charismatic, you're not honest, you're not forthright, you are not hardworking, you are not intelligent. Every single thing about you is offensive, and yet you have a platform. You are what is shit about the internet.
Terrible, where good people have to worry about
what makes you good? Your rapist father that you platformed and brought around young women? The fact that you're screaming racial slurs, homophobic slurs, not racial slurs. The fact that you're screaming racial or homophobic slurs, before you tell an audience member to kill themselves because they push back? FYI, the tattoo on his neck is the brand of sacrifice from Berserk. It's what the rapist villains of the universe curse the protagonist with. forcing them to be hunted by rapist demons until their death. He got it shortly after being accused of being a rapist. What the fuck? He's got... I don't know Berserk. I haven't watched. Is it good? Is Berserk good?
Considered a horrific person due to things they've never even done. It's crazy. Now, I will say that chapter is coming to a close soon. And I promise you guys, when I get to close this chapter, this year, by the way, I'm going to make some fucking banging. I'm not going to lie.
I just spit on my monitor. God damn it. I spit on my monitor. Chat, can you guys give me the link of Peach Jars throwing a basketball at his head, or the link of them playing Not Like Us when he did his last OTK event? Please, those are the two links.
Content is going to be fucking fire. React slop for the piggies. Let's go. Hey, that person's video, that's mine now. Yes, sir. React slop. But no, I actually got some cool events planned. I got so many future plans. It's like, I know I'm going to.
I really like this clip, by the way. We should talk about the cutie clip because it's very good. And honestly, although it was Will being yelled at as she turned red, I kind of felt like we all were yelled at and we deserved it a little bit. We kind of deserved it a little bit. Like, I'm not personally a fan of Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift is the definition of white mediocrity. But so what? That's my dumbass opinion. How much Taylor Swift have I really listened to? What do I fucking know? Right? Like, what the fuck do I know? If you like Taylor Swift, maybe you're right and I'm wrong. I'm honestly ignorant. I'm honestly ignorant. What the fuck do I know? But the thing that really hit, we should watch the clip after this. I gotta piss though.
Close this fucking chapter of my life and move forward. I'm looking forward to that shit so much, but it's been a fucking pain, bro. It's been a pain. There's so many bad people out there. It's actually wild. And that's something that I guess I can just talk about. Guys, I'm so fucking bitter. I'm just old and fucking bitter. I thought about making a podcast called the Old and Bitter Podcast, bro. I do. I'm so disgusted with these people that I don't even want to put myself in a situation where I might even see them. Guys, I'm sorry. Fraudulent motherfuckers run rampant on. They do. And in this fucking town. It's so bad. It's so bad. I was watching this video on like what happened to Austin, Texas. And all these fucking pussy ass libs from California came over to Austin and they just ruined this fucking town, bro. I mean, as a guy who lived in Austin, like back since like 2012, 2011, maybe 2013, one of those years, it's so different now. It is. It's so different. Like, people will drop you like that because loyalty.
They're not loyal to your fucking ass because you did crimes, man.
Doesn't exist in this space. Oh, you're a slight inconvenience to my content or my brand. Drop you like a fucking dime immediately. It is pathetic. These people are so.
Drop you like a dime? This guy is fucking illiterate. That's not what that means. God, he's so stupid. You're so fucking stupid. They drop you like a hot potato. You drop a dime when you snitch on someone else. You fucking illiterate!
And weak. It's like, bro, if I was a streamer right now, and I'm gonna make a whole video on this, by the way. I'm gonna make a whole video on the journey of being a viewer to a content creator. Man, if I was a CC right now, I wouldn't want to talk to anybody. Straight up, I would not talk to anybody. These people are so
Flip your fingernails!
Fucking fake. It's unfucking believable.
Honestly, chat, I have all the people that I'm friends with are not fake. It's fucking great. It's fucking great. I have plenty of content creator friends, and honestly, I don't use them. Like, I don't use them for collabs. You know, I'll occasionally promote them. I'll occasionally say nice words about them. Maybe I'll even raid them or whatever. But like, we're just, you can be friends with content creators as a content creator and not make it about trying to milk them 24/7. Oh, what the fuck happened with the camera? What are you doing on? What the fuck? OBS bot, are you okay? Are you okay? What did you decide to zoom into? Are you okay, OBS bot? What happened? What the fuck happened?
And that's my problem, is that I've become so disgusted with other content creators. I've become so disgusted with the culture on Twitter, with this whole town, that I don't even want to partake in this. When I get back, and I will be back, not for a while, and I appreciate you guys sticking around with me. The group I'm going to be chilling with, the content that I make, the way that I carry myself is going to be way different. I am a bitter.
Yo, I love crushing these fucking right-wing demons. Have you considered, hey, Tectoad, I have a thought for you. Have you considered showing compassion, love, friendship, acceptance, humility, contrition? Have you tried to seek redemption? Have you tried, I don't know, reaching out to fellow human beings and being altruistic and generous? Hey, have you tried not trying to use people for a second? How about that? You fucking disgusting slime.
Man, and you want to know why I'm so bitter? Because the more you get informed in this world, the more you realize how disgusting this world is.
That's why he likes to support the most disgusting people of all. The fraudsters, the criminals, the crypto casinos, the drug pushers, the scammers, the rapists, the pedophiles, the Epstein associates. That's why he loves the most disgusting people on the planet, because the more he learns, the less he wants to help make it better.
I want everybody to know I'm not taking this break so I can be happy again. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm doing this because I want to enjoy my life. I'm very happy when I hang out with my dog, my cats, my beautiful ass girlfriend, which one day I plan on making my wife, absolutely. But man, I see all these people now who are living in this augmented version of reality, and I feel pity for them. I feel sorrow for them because I know everything that they're living in can disappear like that. It's
I want you to understand, chat, that being nihilistic is a sign of low intelligence. I know that there's a lot of you who probably thought like, oh, I'm nihilistic. That proves that I could see through the matrix. And it means I'm so smart. I realized how human life really is just insignificant on the grand scale of the universe, and that all moral systems are fake, and that blah, blah, blah. Like, if you think you're one of those people, if you think you're enlightened because of you're stupid. This is shit that humanity conquered before we farmed our first field. You are a pathetic, you are a slime. You are a devolution of humanity. You are low intelligence. You are not bright. Like, seriously, if you don't have the mental fortitude and the intelligence to build your own existentialist meaning in life, if you can't then go over the hump of nihilism and realize that, yes, we are alone in the universe, except for each other. If you don't realize that you are a short-term occupant of this universe and you have been blessed with subjective experience, and there's billions of other people in the same boat as you, and that we all need to come together, if you can't build a radical empathy and radical love toward the rest of humanity, you are stupid. You are misery maxing. And that's pathetic. It's pitiable. It's actually pitiable. If you're taking the black pill, I think of you as somebody who's not going to make it.
So fucking
Nazis.
They were Nazis, dude?
Oh, come on, Donnie. They were threatening castration.
Uh-huh.
Are we going to split hairs here?
No.
Am I wrong?
Well, he
Man, they were nihilists, man.
Huh?
They kept saying they believed in nothing.
Nihilists. Fuck me. I mean, say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos.
No.
Although, actually, National Socialism is heavily influenced by nihilism. It is heavily influenced by nihilism, which is basically what Nazis believed, is that it was almost like an embrace of a vulgar form of natural selection, in which they had a pseudo-scientific idea of the competition of the races. And therefore, because racial competition is nature, anything one race does to the other is permitted, because it's in the service of finding the higher and best form of human life. And it's nonsensical babble, in case you want to know. And if you fall for that shit, you're dumb. You're fucking stupid. The deep irony of his brand of sacrifice tattoo is that the exact opposite of its literary symbolism. The characters we follow with the brand fight for a brighter life with love for their companions, despite the cruelty of the world and the monsters pursuing them. Exactly. You're the opposite, dude. You are the problem. You are the people that create all the pain of this world. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're the person talking about your own bitterness because people are fake or whatever the fuck. You loser.
Fake. It's insane.
Why don't you, instead of crying about people being fake, why don't you take the radical step of being authentic and unafraid of being cringe like me, you little bitch? I'm unafraid of being my true self warts and all. I don't mind saying I believe in something and striving for it. And guess what? Eating a lot of shit because it's hard. Fighting for anything that matters is hard. I'm going to take a lot of L's because I have an ambitious belief system that wants to change the world. Instead of being such a fucking disgusting, hateful bigot, why don't you believe in something, you fucking fraud? God damn. If there's a man on the world that's the opposite of me in every way that matters, it's this slime.
The sad realization is there's so little good people on this earth. It's
completely the opposite. Most people are good. Most people are kind. Most people are generous. Most people are curious. But guess what happened to them? They live in a fucking demonic system designed for and ruled by sociopathic freaks who use all forms of coercion they can create to force us into a dog-eat-dog system. Most people are kind and generous and friendly, and they'll help out a stranger in need. You're just wrong. Now, we all have bad beliefs. We all have false consciousness. We all have things that we do that are flaws. The idea that there's very few good people in the world is fascist babble, and it's wrong. It's fundamentally wrong. It is. The problem is we have a very few evil people, and they have the power because the system incentivizes the most evil people to win. That's what capitalism does. It is the company owner that doesn't want to fire an employee because he has human connections with him. He loses out to the capitalist that will viciously cut his staff for 1 cent more of profit. Did I talk about Hassan and Hutch? I already did.
Rising.
We talk about Tectone now.
There's a lot of okay people that will make you think that they're great people. But I've said this once, and I'll say this before.
In what way are you a good person, Tectone? Legitimately, I want to ask you. Under what worldview are you a good person? Demonstrate how you're a good person. What altruistic acts are you taking? What charity are you donating to? What movement are you fighting in favor of?
Your friends in elementary school are gone in middle school. Your friends in middle school are gone in high school. Your friends in high school are gone in college. Your friends in college are gone once you get a job. Your friends in your job are gone once you leave that job.
That's not true at all. What the fuck are you talking about? What? Self-report.
True friends are so rare. It's insane. And the worst thing is, the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life was that I was too loyal. Guys, you know, if you've watched my content for any amount of time, I have every single person's back who I hold dear. No.
By the way, he wants people to hold his back no matter what he did or is accused of. That's what he's complaining about. He's saying, why aren't you taking my side when I did a crime against someone? That's what he's really talking about.
Matter what, without even them having to ask me. I don't know how many videos of mine you've had to watch to know this, but you know if you've watched more than 3 videos that if one of my friends comes in heat, I'm there for them no matter what. No matter what.
So you're with people even if they do evil shit? Aren't you? Did you just say there's not that many good people in the world? And your definition of good is standing by people when they do evil. Bro, that's demonic. That's fucking demonic. If I have a friend and they're doing something wrong, I will go to that friend, and because of that relationship, I will counsel them to do good and do right. I will not go, well, you're my friend, I guess we're gonna just do evil shit. Like, what the fuck?
And those same people will not have my back. Well, some of them will. Very rare. Very, very, very rare. Very rare. But you guys know the guys who do have my back. By the way, to you content creators who've been speaking kindly about me, I don't want to mention...
Honestly, he sounds like he has borderline personality. I'm not a psychiatrist, but this sounds like borderline personality disorder to me. Like everything he's saying so far, the last 10 minutes, he's talking about like inability to form long-term relationships, transactional relationships, wanting like ride or dies even when he's in the wrong. This sounds like borderline personality to me.
Specifically by name, but just know I saw the clips. I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for at least having my back online. It's very rare these days. It is very rare. I'm taking a lot of this time off to really get my head straight and really just try to remember, why am I doing this? What's the goal? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? What do I want to show you guys? I'm trying to enjoy my life as a human, and I really think I am. I'm actually playing video games and I'm having fun with them. That's very rare, right? I'm playing Fallout 4. I'm having a fucking blast.
Bro, I looked at some of the symptoms of BPD, and when I got to the end of the list, I was like, bless.
Almost done with the Brotherhood of Steel. And Preston Garvey says, another settlement needs your help for like the millionth time. And I'm running around with dog meat. I got the mod where I made him a golden retriever. And, you know, I like to imagine that he's Mango, I'm me, and we run around the towns and we save the settlements and we build up structure.
BPDers get a bad rep because of it. Okay, I want to say this just to clear it up. Just because you have a personality disorder doesn't mean you're a bad person. Even if you have antisocial personality disorder, having a disorder doesn't mean that you are bad. It's how you are reckoning with and trying to control that the bad behaviors or personality traits that you find yourself with through the nature and nurture, and how you interpret the steps you need to take in order to align yourself with other people and with society at large. Just because you have antisocial, like even if you have antisocial personality, doesn't mean you have to act in an antisocial fashion. Like, for example, there's plenty of ways, I've talked about this before, but you could be antisocial personality, but then do pro-social shit. Like, if you can see a human being injured and not be emotionally affected, that's a great trait for a surgeon to have. If a surgeon, like a trauma surgeon, sees an injured child and they're not psychologically affected and they're able to perform surgery at a high level to heal that injured child, that is pro-social. So yes, you turn what could have been a really negative trait, but if you use it in the right way, you could help out society. You could be a wildfire firefighter, right? If you are a high risk, if you have a urge to take risk, if you are fearless, going and doing something like fighting wildfires because you don't feel that same level of fear, that could be pro-social. It's not what you feel, it's how you take those feelings and emotions and you develop cognitive pathways to making it pro-social and healthy, and then you work on improving those areas within yourself that may have been harmed or damaged by trauma or something else. Just because you have some sort of personality disorder that you're working with doesn't mean you're a bad person in any way. What makes you a bad person is victimizing others and then rationalizing it and justifying it. That's what makes you a bad person, right? So I don't want you to think that I'm saying BPD people are bad, or even narcissistic people are bad, or even antisocial people are bad, or like sociopaths. I've met sociopaths who are really good people because they rationalized themselves. They created a cognitive behavioral therapy. They created a way of being that was in line. They had a way of being, and then they aligned it with values that they believed in. And they were constantly checking themselves and constantly working on themselves. Just because you have this doesn't mean you're bad. I think this is very important for people to understand. However, if you have one of these disorders and you see yourself acting in an antisocial way or victimizing others.
Okay with that.
Was it Tectone, an industry plan brought up by Rich Campbell? Yes, Tectone was brought on by accused rapist Rich Campbell and Asmongold. Whiny little bitch about how mean the internet is, and the top comment of his like blubbering, whining, I'm quitting video is someone harassing Frogan and getting 500 upvotes. Just put the fries in the bag, dude.
I can tell you how much this sucks for me, man. I think you guys know this, but I'm a very consistent content creator. You know, I don't really go away too often. This really is like my first real time taking any big amount of time off. I don't know how long it'll be either. A week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, a year. There's no way it's going to be a year. That would be awful if it was. But I'll keep you guys updated with all that shit. Yeah. I just wanted to let you guys know. There's probably other things I could talk about in this video, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm all good. Taking some time off for the first time in a while. Dealing with a lot of things behind the scenes that fucking suck ass, you know. I'll talk more about it later. But just know that I really miss you guys. I do. And I hope I get back to doing this pretty soon. And I would like to let you guys know, for anybody worried about me, don't be. And I promise you guys, I am not going to let any of you guys down. And the story I get to tell you guys when I'm back, or maybe a little bit after I'm back, is gonna make a lot of sense.
He's such a botter, dude. He's such a fucking obvious botter. It's crazy how much of a botter he is. Like, I'm looking at his viewership, and no matter what game he plays, he has the same fucking viewers. Bro, this is a bot shit. You're a botter. You're a fucking botter, dude. Do you have any fans? It's like, man, I got 5,400 people watching me slide. Then I got 5,700 people watching Wuthering Waves and Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Everything is 5,000 to 6,000 on no matter what game he plays. Bro, you're not that popular. We know you. That's fucking horseshit. You're so obviously botting every single fucking thing. He bots every single fucking thing. He's the most obvious fucking botter I've ever seen in my life.
I can say the things that I want to say. And it's a very important story I need to tell.
It would be shocking if he had legitimately 1,000 regular viewers.
Watching this can probably tell how deeply conflicted I am in my own mind right now. And I can tell I'm at a very big pivot point, or a very big, like, the moment I am in my life right now is very important to who I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. And I really have to take the time to make sure that that person is someone who I'm proud of and someone who I'm gonna enjoy being the rest of my life. So I hope you guys understand why I'm not here right now. I look forward to being back when I am back. And to all you guys typing my name in other content creators chats, I've been sent the clips and it's very cute, and I really appreciate you guys, and I do miss you guys quite a lot. I've said that a lot. I do. I don't like taking this time off. It fucking sucks. But it's what's best for me. And so many people have told me that I need.
With dudes like this crashing out. I'm never walking light, dude. I never walk light. We're the heaviest of heavies over here.
To do this, so I'm going to do it. But
never
it feels like
catching me slipping.
I'm out in my fucking room right now. Jesus, these fucking birds! Holy fuck! Anyways, this for the 1,000th time, but miss you guys. Hope to get back to content creation pretty soon. Probably not going to be able to. I'll upload a couple videos every now and then on this channel, kind of in this format. A bit more structured next time I talk. And hope you guys are doing all right.
All chat. What we call this in the industry is a complete and total Mike from PA / Denim's victory and Frogan victory. Bye, bitch! I'm taking a break right after the bots are banned. Okay, the clip. I don't have... Where the fuck is my cutie clip? Okay, oh, here it is. Okay. This clip was so fucking good, I was speechless when I saw it.
I don't like talking about Taylor Swift with you guys. I'm not even kidding. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it.
You know what? We asked you about the biggest news in America, which is her engagement.
You guys are infuriating. So it's not like, oh, how exciting! What flowers is she gonna have? You're like, oh my God, Kitty, did you shit yourself? Did you shit in your little pretty pants? You stupid little bitch that loves Taylor Swift. Did you drink your pumpkin spice latte and kick your stupid little Ugg boots in the air? You dumb little fucking cunt! Is that what you say to me?
Look at the color of her face. Color of their face here. Color of the face here. And honestly, can I just say cutie ate. She fucking ate, and she's right. One of the ways that we are misogynistic, and when I say we, I mean all men, is the way that when a woman has an interest or a hyperfixation, the way that men try to jump in to fucking cut her down every fucking time. It's starting to piss me off because I noticed it. And she's right. It's like, I have 3 sisters. So I might have a little bit more of an empathetic view toward women, because I don't have any brothers, and I have three sisters. So I never really, as far as like this kind of stuff went, it was never really normal. My parents treated us like the same, like, you know what I mean? They didn't go like, oh, Mike's interests are so much more important than yours, right? Like they were very, and so when I see men, like whenever women start talking about some of their interests, the snide comments, the fucking eye rolling, the snickering, it's fucking insane. I actually don't like it. I don't like it, to be honest with you. Because I am a hyperfixation guy. I like to do my little info dumps, and I love when other people do their info dumps. When I'm at a party, you know what I'm doing at a party? I'm mingling, and I'm trying to get people to do an info dump on me. I'm trying to find all the autistic people and find out their hyperfixation and then just trigger it. Have them do an info dump on me. That's my dream party. My dream party is me walking around with a whiskey sour and just finding all the autistic info dumps. I need to get like a fucking punch card and try to get 10 info dumps. That's my dream. I don't info dump other people because unless I'm really drunk and they asked for it, because I've learned to control myself. Other than politics, what's your go-to info dump? Okay, if I'm going to be completely honest, I like to talk to people about their info dump at their level. So I recently met an architect and he started info dumping about being an architect. And I was starting to talk about material science. I was talking to him about, you know, architecture versus project management versus, you know, construction. And I was talking about the interdisciplinary nature of taking something from the page or from CAD into making it actually exist. I like to talk to people about their shit at their level. That's what I like to do at parties. I don't like to info dump my shit because I'm so passionate about my stuff and I'm so sharp that if people want to talk to me about politics, they're going to be on the hot seat. Like, I'm going to peel apart their views and we're going to look at it and we're going to talk about it. So I try not to do that unless someone asks for it. But if they do, I'll give it to them with both barrels. I mean, I'm not against it. Like, I will do it. Can I get a link to the clip? We'll play it one more time. Anyway, long story short, honestly, like, I hope they hear this. I hope they hear it because it is misogyny, man. And it is common. And I'm not saying that any of these guys are misogynistic and I'm not saying they do this. They were doing this intentionally. I think they were just bantering, having fun on Fear and. But I think it's a good point to like bring it up as if you're a dude and a woman starts talking to you about her interest and you don't particularly care about it, shut the fuck up. Let her have her moment.
I don't like talking about Taylor Swift with you guys. I'm not even kidding. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it.
You know what? We asked you about the biggest news in America, which is her engagement.
You guys are infuriating. So it's not like, oh, how exciting! What flowers is she gonna have? You're like, oh my God, Kitty, did you shit yourself? Did you shit in your little pretty pants? You stupid little bitch that loves Taylor Swift. Did you drink your pumpkin spice latte and kick your stupid little Ugg boots in the air? You dumb little fucking cunt. Is that what you say to me? I don't like talking about Taylor Swift.
And like, she cooked. She fucking cooked. I'm sorry. She cooked it. She cooked them. And they gagged. I saw Austin saw with his gay empathy, like, you know, empathy for women that gay men have, that straight men seem to struggle to have. He could see that she was actually kind of serious. And he tried to like shut them up. But she was already, it was too late. I think one of the issues with men in general is they're so concerned with performing their gender that it's like taking up a significant part of their brain cycles. A significant part of men's brains is like if you had a task manager for a straight man and you pulled it up and you ranked by CPU, performing masculinity is like churning 40% of their CPU cycles of like, I gotta make sure I don't look gay, or I don't want to make sure I don't look feminine. I gotta make sure I'm looking manly. As a bisexual man in the queer community, gay men are some of the biggest misogynists. Let me just let you and I come to a conclusion that men are misogynists. Men are fucking misogynists. And I don't say that because I like hate men or masculinity. On the contrary, I don't. I think it's possible to be a man and not be so fucking misogynistic all the time. I think it is possible. Maybe I'm fantasizing. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm inventing a version of masculinity that can't exist. But I was going to disagree with the bisexual, but honestly, they kind of cooked me. The bisexual kind of cooked me a bit. They're kind of right. Oh, boy. Cutie, we see you. We hear you. Don't dim your star. Don't dim your star, cutie. We love when you shine brightly. And honestly, you know what this rant makes me realize? I need to listen to some Taylor Swift. I need to sit my male ass down and listen to some Taylor Swift. And not be so fucking such a dude about it. Now, I probably won't like it, but who gives a shit? I always cringe whenever somebody's like, I don't like seafood, or I only eat chicken tenders, or rap isn't music. I feel like just blanket hating Taylor Swift is kind of related to that. It's being closed off. It's being weird. It's being kind of like, you're not better than other people. seafood is delicious. Okay. Hip hop rap is without a doubt the engine of American culture at this point, and not liking it is literally the same as being a racist at this point. If you say you can't find anything in hip hop or rap that you like, you're a fucking racist, period. Also, you're lying. What do I think about Aaron Rodgers as the Steelers quarterback this year? I think it is like one of the worst mistakes the Steelers have ever made. I think he is a locker room cancer. I think he's washed up. I think he's politically incoherent. I think that he is arrogant as fuck, terrible leader, and he's just going to maybe play a couple weeks before he inevitably gets hurt, and we have to listen to his whining from the sideline for the rest of the year, so it's all wasted cap space. Aaron Rodgers fucking sucks. He's washed, and the Steelers are messing with... They have a great defense. They need to find a young quarterback to take the reins, and instead they're going to be a fucking basket case with this loser, and it fucking sucks. Mike wants to be a Swiftie. I'm not a Swiftie. I honestly don't like stan culture. I don't even like stan culture, but I also understand that it's inevitable based on the way our systems are designed. So I'm not going to go around and pretend to be like better than other people. All right. Another story I really wanted to get to before the end of the stream today is this. They're trying to take guns away from transgender people. I guess the Second Amendment doesn't matter. Trump DOJ is looking at ways to ban transgender Americans from owning guns, sources say. In the wake of the Minneapolis Catholic Church shooting, senior Justice Department officials are weighing proposals to limit transgender people's right to possess firearms. Now, this is how you know trans people are being oppressed. And honestly, it's the same thing with gun control in the 80s under Ronald Reagan. They put it in because black people were getting armed and setting up community defense organizations. Now suddenly Republicans love gun control. The talks, described as preliminary in nature, appear to build an idea that has gained some currency in conservative media since Minneapolis shooting that killed 2 children and injured 21, most of them children. An attack that police say was carried out by a 23-year-old transgender woman. If they ban trans people from having guns, I will accept ailment of any transgender person who wants to have me store their guns, or they could give it to me as a gift, and they will have the total right to borrow it from me at any time, because we're not going to allow people to be disarmed in this fucking country. Never, ever give up your arms to a fascist government, ever. Such a move would represent a dramatic escalation of the Trump administration's fight against the rights of transgender Americans. They barred transgender people from the military, ordered federal prisons to move transgender inmates to facilities corresponding to their gender assigned at birth. This is literally rape and murder. This is literally rape and murder. In addition, the idea of restricting gun rights has long been a red line for conservatives, with many Republican lawmakers and gun rights groups opposing red flag laws or other policies aimed at keeping guns away from people suffering from mental health issues. But Justice Department leadership has seriously considered whether it could use its rulemaking authority to follow on to Trump's determination to bar military service by transgender people and declare that people who are transgender are mentally ill and can lose their Second Amendment rights to possess firearms. In other words, the Constitution doesn't exist. The NRA supports the Second Amendment rights of all law-abiding Americans to purchase, possess, and use firearms. The NRA does not and will not support any policy proposals that implement sweeping gun bans that arbitrarily strip law-abiding citizens of their Second Amendment rights without due process. And as you can see, right-wingers don't care about the Second Amendments. Like, they literally don't give a shit. There is a very famous comment that explains conservatism in a nutshell. Conservatives believe that laws should bind you and protect them. In other words, they don't give a shit about universal rights. They don't believe in it. Are you conservative? Then law protects you. Are you not? Then the law binds you. But it doesn't bind them. They think they're going to be on the right side of whatever line is arbitrarily drawn. Federal law requires a judge to declare a person to be mentally defective before being stripped of their right to own guns. Alexandra Caraballo, a clinical instructor at Harvard Law School, says she takes seriously this latest effort to target transgender people in the U.S. The administration, she argues, could try to have government agencies declare people with gender dysphoria as subject to a gun ban and then use the levers of the government, such as Medicare and Social Security Administration, to compile a list of transgender people to be targeted. This precedent being used against transgender people could also be used against veterans with PTSD. Why the fuck do we need to bring up another group? Why don't you just defend trans people? What the fuck? A spokesman for the advocacy group GLAAD said the DOJ is using the transgender community as a scapegoat. Instead of actual solutions, the administration is again choosing to scapegoat and target a small and vulnerable population. The GLAAD spokesperson said that, noting that transgender people are less than 2% of the population, but 4 times as likely to be victims of crime. Everyone deserves to be themselves, be safe, and free from violence and discrimination. The vast majority of mass attacks in the U.S. have no connection to transgender people. Of the more than 5,700 mass shootings in America from January 2013 to the present, 5 shooters were confirmed to be transgender. So that's 0.1%. That is less than their segment of the population. Significantly less. 20 times less than their section of the population. Because gender dysphoria is included in the American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, also called the DSM, it is diagnosed as a mental disorder, but the gender incongruence, having a gender identity that's not the one assigned at birth, isn't what makes gender dysphoria a mental disorder. Having clinically significant dysphoria around the incongruence is what makes it a disorder. And this is why, like trans medicalists, this is exactly what we were worried about. Trying to make gender into these rigid categories and medicalize it is now allowing it to be used to target trans people. What a really depressing and scary story. And if you're trans, get a fucking gun while you can. Oh no, my tab crashed.
Over and over again. And when I finally did call him out, he fucking cried on the phone and pleaded and begged. And you'll never see that side of it because he puts up his persona, but he was crying on the phone after, asking if it was just fake drama or if it was legitimate, because he's so fucking delusional and sick and can't register that what just happened is real. The fact that I was calling him out and calling him a piece of shit is real. He's such a schizo. He's literally schizophrenic. He can't compute that me disliking him was real. That's how mentally ill that fucking guy is. He is sick, and you'll never hear that out of his mouth, but oh dude, it is crazy. It is crazy. He's wild.
I love that the Tectone hate is now spreading to regular normies. All right, chat. Well, it is Friday, and you know what that means. That means we have an event today, which is we are watching a movie. We are watching a movie. So every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we get together and we watch a movie. This week, we are watching The Palestinian. I'm trying to find... It is a documentary from the 70s about the PLO. I don't think it has a trailer. But anyway, please come, hang out. We will be doing that. America-Venezuela war, when? I mean, hopefully not soon. Here is the Discord link. To end the week, we have another great message from Greg Stoker. Let's do that.
Global Samud Flotilla, and this message is for the Americans who don't vote or concern themselves with U.S. foreign policy, specifically when it comes to Palestine. Trump, our Republican president, is renaming the Department of Defense back into the Department of War, and you won't get any resistance from the Democratic opposition party, because at least it's an honest title. The entire government of the U.S. empire and the moneyed interests controlling it are all pro-war, pro-intervention, and pro-police and national security state. Genocide in Gaza, which both parties have wholeheartedly supported, has ushered in a new era of impunity, where our government has been able to do whatever it wants to Palestinians, and because not enough of us have risen up to stop it and demand something better for them, they're going to be able to do whatever they want to you. Whatever forms of violence and repression we implement overseas always come back to your local police department and ICE headquarters. For ICE just signed a contract with the Israeli spyware firm Paragon to gain access to their graphite hacking software, tested on Palestinians in the West Bank, which can not only track an individual's whereabouts, read their messages, look at their photographs, but also open and read information held on encrypted applications like WhatsApp or Signal. If you've ever posted anything critical of our new extrajudicial ICE police force, which both political parties have religiously funded, you're going on a list. Our current government has nothing to offer you. They will try to take everything from you, just like they're trying to take all of Gaza to build Trump and Tony Blair's new Riviera. The militarization of the police is the housing crisis plan, the inflation plan, the healthcare plan, the climate displacement plan, the privatization of water plan. Everything you've seen them do to Palestinians, they will do to you eventually. So this is the front line. So if you're only motivated by self-interest, please ask yourself, would you rather fight this out in Palestine or in your backyard? Brunch is over, and this is what the ruling class has decided is normal. When this flotilla is assailed by drones and an interdiction is attempted, you'll have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to apply political pressure to our government to end this insanity and to wake people up. I hope you organize and mobilize. So, like, what will you do and where will you be? You got about 2 weeks to figure it out. Cheers, y'all. Free Palestine, abolish ICE, the stepchild of the IOF, and free yourselves. Hey, Greg here from the veteran boat attached to the global.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you for the flotilla, man. Godspeed. They're sending a whole pile of boats. We're going to cover it more next week when we're back. Make sure you come hang out, chat, in the Discord. Here's the links. I'm sending you all over to VO. VO is finally doing streams again. They had some time off. So please be a sweetheart and show VO all the love. Thank you guys, gals, non-binary pals for all your support. I will see you tonight in the Discord to watch the movie. Stay safe out there. Solidarity forever, my friends. That's how socialism will win. Solidarity, comradeship, and of course, free Palestine from the river to the sea. I'll see you all soon.